Hi guys, and welcome to Pen's Notes. I'm Peniel, your host. And who do we have in studio today?
It's your boy Timz OG. You already know what the fuck going on.
For fuck's sake.
Yes, sir.
Ariel.
Every year, bro.
Seriously.
Who else?
Ariel, Lua.
Energy.
Bro.
Come on, that's a
I'm
great
happy- I'm
name.
happy you
That's an
dumbed it down
amazing
because
name.
Mine is even gonna be just Tobi.
I'm screaming.
So like, it's good that you like, because you went for Timmy, you know what the fuck going on. Like, I didn't know how to keep that. I didn't know how to match that.
That's the energy.
Yo,
Hi, I'm Ariel.
I'm Kiitan.
And I'm Tobi.
Two Tobis, by
short
the way.
Tobi and
Oh,
Tobi.
stop it.
No, we have
So-
Tobi O and Tobi J. So what is your note for this week, or what's your hot take?
Let's start from short Tobi and then.
Anyone can actually...
I feel like as a man, why are you telling me what to do?
Mm.
that your hot take?
No, but
No, you have to say your hot
Wait.
take.
Let's reload that. What does she mean by that?
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Before we start dissecting
So
that.
a woman can tell you what to do.
no one should be telling me what to do in the first
So why'd you
place.
say as a man? Why'd you
Because
have to
right, are you not
reference-
a man?
Why'd you have to link everything to my gender?
I'm
Like,
just
bloody
are
hell.
you
That's the problem
insane?
in the
The Tobis
generation.
are fighting. Okay, Grandpa. Not in the generation of...
Fair enough.
Let's get to our hot takes first. Who wants to go first?
I can start.
Okay.
Okay, so my hot take is I think it should be legally required that every single time on Twitter, right? Every single time someone quotes your tweet and says this you, every single person that has that quote has to reply within 24 hours that somebody did that.
What's
understand.
I don't
What?
understand.
There are too many times where guys are cooking and then guys do that this you kind of quotes. Have
Oh,
you ever
like
seen
a
that?
gotcha moment.
So,
Yeah.
let's say
Oh.
somebody says, "Oh, I hate people who drink orange juice so much,"
Oh.
and then you find an old tweet from them in 2018 when they're like, "Bro,
Oh.
I just had my 5th orange juice of the day."
Oh, fair.
You now screenshot it and do, "Oh, is this you?" Because
Yeah.
like you're talking very different.
Yeah.
Guys never reply to that this you, and I really want to know what they have to say. Do you grab?
But they have nothing to say. They're embarrassed. They're embarrassed.
Well, maybe not embarrassed. They can
That's a
change
good
their
hot take.
mind.
So what? Maybe they're shy.
Maybe be embarrassed. They might just change their mind.
Yeah, but then just say that. I feel
Then why
like
don't
because you're saying that they don't reply. The reason why they don't reply is because they're probably just embarrassed. But rather than being
So that's
embarrassed,
your hot take. Everybody else, forget about everything else.
Oh, chill.
I don't think they have to. If that was me and they said this you,
exactly. I wouldn't reply.
I might just be like, that's
I'm like,
me.
oh.
I'm like, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah.
Or like, I'll delete the tweets. This you.
This one, yeah, they're a good
So that's
person.
very
Yeah,
screenshot.
they're a good person. Like, I
No,
feel like-
I'm not
Nice
deleting
now.
that. You have to stand on business.
Bro, that's
But
AI,
I feel like that's
What's the
also
AI?
that's also because most people in this room are very confident. I feel like some people that are shy, man, just they don't want to come and be saying, oh, they just let me just ghost quietly.
No photo.
They're not gonna come and say, oh, this is me, yeah, and like
No
people are not really
photo. If you have
confrontational
it
like
straight
that.
to Yanni,
Actually,
yeah.
it's
Just
true.
fucking
Yeah.
me.
My hot take.
Right.
Shits and giggles is my hot take.
Shits and giggles.
That is my hot take.
My hot take is related to that.
Okay.
I can't lie. You.
My hot take
Let's
is.
get that hot take. Shit, but wait, we're not coming for anyone who like. So
I'm not coming for you. What are you saying? I said what I said.
Don't go and make a video of us talking about shits and gigs as our hot take.
The shit bro, carry this one.
Let's go.
Stand on business, please.
I'm joking. But my hot take with shits and giggles is.
Gigs.
Is it gigs?
Giggles.
Oh, sorry. I thought they used to.
Low.
I think it might be
I
short.
thought they used to
I think it might
giggle.
be short for giggles.
That's what I'm
so-
saying now. I need to shit is eggs. Yeah, it's like gigs.
But the
Yeah, exactly. So who's to say gigs is not giggles? It's giggles.
True,
We're
right.
giggling. We're all giggling here because we're giggling at you.
What's the hot take?
My hot take is the whole thing that's been happening. Right? They came out to say that they were in an awkward position and they nervously laughed. That's what they came out to say, right? And my hot take is that I feel like people always laugh when they don't feel offended or when they don't feel take something personally. Because in that same podcast, before I even get into this, I personally have never watched I've never listened to any of their podcasts, never watched. I've seen clips on like TikTok and whatever, but I've never gone to like listen. So if I'm saying something out of context, cool. But in one of the other clips I saw, one of the other guys that was beside him not only said something racist about like Nigerians, he also said something Islamophobic. And Fahoud is an Arabic name, right?
Wow.
Fuhad, is an Arabic name. So that means he either has like Arabic parents or he's Muslim. When the person said something Islamophobic, he didn't laugh because ain't shit funny. But when you're here talking about black women, I hate how the standards are always something. And to be fair, like, made over kid, I deleted the apology because the apology was insincere anyways. So that's my own hot take.
Let me link
not
my
gonna
hot
lie.
take to hers before we discuss it.
Sorry, before you even say your hot take though, I like.
No, he wants to add his hot take to because he said it's relevant. And then you can say
I can't wait. I can't wait.
No, don't. So I'm not looking like a bad person.
So, is it okay if I give my hot take now? I'll be checking with Kiitan permission. Is it okay if I give my hot take now? My hot take is, if you do something you don't need to apologize to people online because you don't know them.
I don't know if I agree with that whole thing,
I
but
don't
let's
know
address.
about
Let's get to
that
Kiitan.
one.
Let's get to Kiitan first.
Well, I
heard
disagree
that.
with
I
a big
heard that.
thing. I just want to point out that like it's not like I'm on either person's side or anything. You know, like you said, I don't know them niggas from Adam.
Yeah.
Can I say when they come?
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, you guys haven't seen it since. So why stop now?
I don't know those boys from but like I kind of like I do have to point out that like even in that statement that you just made, there were a lot of assumptions.
Right.
Like, for example, now you assume that okay, this person made an Islamophobic joke. This
No, I didn't
person-
assume he did.
X person, okay, he made an Islamophobic joke.
Yeah.
X person has an Islam sounding name, and so he must have heard that joke and deliberately not laughed because he wasn't offended by that one, but he laughed at the black woman one because he was like he hates black women and like do you grab?
I mean, fair enough, but like, if we open, if we
Correlation
Google
is
right now,
not
so I
causation.
understand that. But if we Google right now,
Shut Tobi does not.
Can I
agree.
tell
No,
you
so
my
my thing,
okay,
so my
sorry.
thing with this whole situation, right, is the way these things work. You've said, okay, come to my pod. You've come to the pod. They don't just drop the episode
Right.
without your consent. Like they
Right,
give you,
exactly.
they let you watch it 1st.
Mhm.
You say, oh, I don't like this. Take this out. Take
Mhm.
this out. I'm assuming they have a good team because obviously they're quite big. They did
Right.
the so they sold it out. So they must have a nice, good team that is sound and all rounded.
right?
They watched it and they thought, okay, cool. This is good to fly.
Right.
So it's like stand on the business.
Stand on your
There's
business.
nothing like about, like I'm sure the stuff they took out. They probably does. Who knows? We're not there.
Mhm.
And
Probably
Sean said
worse
there
thing
was
that's
other stuff
what
that
you
was
said.
taken out,
Yeah.
but that they never requested
And
any of the black women's
it's
stuff.
very
taken
when
out.
a podcast is recorded visually, you can see people's expressions. You can see if they're nervous or
Yeah.
comfortable. You can
Awkward.
see if they're just laughing. And when I watched it, it just looked like they were just going with the joke.
Right.
So to then turn around and say
Right.
I was uncomfortable, I was
Right.
nervous, I wanted to move on, it just makes your whole apology so insincere.
I
that
think
Right.
the fight of life
But-
excuses we
like,
have.
But
Fight or
I
flight is like
can't
it's-
lie. Do you feel like you're the same person you were for 8 years ago?
Well, it's not 8 years.
Wait,
We're talking about the old
wait,
one.
can I ask you a question?
We're
Can I ask you
talking
guys a
about the
question?
old one. We're talking about the one
Can I
that
ask you guys a
happened
question
like
now?
in US,
Every
so-
single person in this
Oh.
room.
Yeah, so you know how the 8 years ago,
It
one
was
they were
like
saying the thing
4
about
months
like,
ago.
oh, if that white girl, if she came black, nobody. That's what one of the one we're
Yeah,
talking
okay.
about. So they said in this that the one with the white people, that white guy, I don't know his name, the guy that was on that, Andrew, that guy. This was like during the American tour that just happened like last month or
yeah.
so.
Oh, for
Yeah,
real?
so
What-
this
what
is all
happened?
recent. So they were basically saying that like, so okay, for the people that don't know as well, they were basically they went on a podcast and then the guy, first of all, how it even started, they started asking the guy, "Oh, you're Nigerian, right? Are you Yoruba? The Hausas are the lazy ones, the
Yeah,
Igbos are
yeah.
the this."
Whoa,
Making
whoa,
the white
whoa,
guy was
whoa,
saying
whoa,
this,
whoa,
and they
whoa,
said
whoa,
that
whoa,
the
whoa,
white
whoa,
guy was
whoa,
here
Came out
saying
of the
this.
white guy's
Whoa.
mouth.
Yeah.
They just laughed. So they apologized for laughing.
Yeah, but then that's not. But that's not
the thing
even.
or don't apologize.
Also, you know
But
something
that's not,
that's crazy
that's
to me
not
about
even,
race?
that's not even all
That's
though. But that's not
not
even
even-
all.
They just
They now
laughed.
progressed to say that they asked, okay, so what is the black wife effect?
That guy
And they
was-
said the black wife effect is basically when a white man dates a black woman, he kind of glows up, he has a fade, and the guy starts saying the reason why the white men grow a beard is out of protection because they're getting slapped.
Yeah.
So
he
he said the fade is because their head is falling out of stress. He made that. It's not even a thing where somebody has slightly said something about, like even when he asked, "Oh, black women or white women," that's not something that people are gonna drag because at the end of the day, some people will care. But if someone says they prefer white women, that's your preference, it's your business. But when you're saying making assumptions that black women are abusive and like you're spewing negative and detrimental stereotypes, that's when we have an issue.
Yeah, that's what
Like, but yeah,
I
sorry.
feel like it's a bit sad that I'm only going to be serious this one time. After that, I'm going back to making jokes. I feel like it's a bit sad that like black women are always like it's so. I don't know how to word it. It's like black women are always the boss of the joke. And
Yep,
it's so easy
yep.
to make black women the boss of the joke. But at the same time, like a lot of people, including black women, are put in uncomfortable positions where people make jokes about black women,
Right.
And you don't know how to react
Yeah.
besides
And I was gonna
Fair
ask
enough.
that question.
besides just laughing.
Right.
Are you gonna tell me every single person in this room has never been in that type of situation?
Bro, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
But if I was in that type of situation, I would visibly.
Yeah, I would look uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They do.
I would look
the problem
uncomfortable.
is they didn't look uncomfortable at all.
And even
Do you know the truth of
removing.
the matter, I don't personally swallow that excuse. But like for me to happen upon two people I've never met from Adam before, and they say you did not look uncomfortable, I don't know you from anywhere.
Okay, fair
How
enough.
can
I
I-
agree
What do
with
you
that.
mean?
But
What do you
what
mean?
about-
I don't swallow
Yeah.
that excuse because I feel as though the fight or flight response, like everybody here seems to have kind of taken. I think at least me when I watched that video, it came across as something that you kind of thought of afterwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really buy the excuse of, oh yeah, this was a very fight or flight response, and like because the way they tried to paint it, it's like a thing where they recorded that pod and they left, and in the car going home, they were like, man, can't lie.
Yeah.
I really wish I kicked off, but yeah,
Okay.
you know, decorum and respect and all this. I don't think that was on their mind at all. I think they were caught up in the moment. I think someone made a joke that didn't necessarily affect them too much, and there are plenty of times I can be hanging out with somebody in a group or and they say something, I'm like, yo, that's why.
Yeah.
But like, that's not my guy, so I'm sure
Yeah.
just gonna give like a
Yeah,
little
it's
chuckle
true,
and like
yeah.
move on.
But I agree with that. But let's also remember what Tobi had said, that
Shut
you
up.
had the you had the opportunity with podcasts. The same way with this podcast. We're gonna go back. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna remove the parts that we don't like and put the parts that we don't care to have out publicly. It's the same thing they did. So you guys
And I
saw
will
that
point
video,
out,
and you thought
I
there was
will point
nothing.
out, Andrew Schultz
Actually, I did
specifically
swear.
said that they did remove some
Sure.
stuff and they didn't ask us
Yes,
about it.
Andrew, the
Obviously,
white guy came back because
everyone's
they
words
basically
against
started
each
laughing at these
Yeah.
two guys, their panties are in a bunch,
Sure.
them they figure of speech, but they were just like
No,
yes,
they
they
didn't.
apologized, but like there was other stuff they asked us to remove,
Yeah.
so like they basically didn't understand the apology, which
Yeah.
also then ended up coming to bite the shit and
Yeah,
give
man.
them-
Yeah.
I
And
think-
also, for the record, I do think that it proves the overarching point that Tobi was trying to make, which is that I do believe to an extent, it's not that these guys haven't
Tobi,
Tobi J,
Shout out to
Uh-huh.
but like, it's not that I don't believe that they've done anything wrong, but I do think it's been very clearly pointed out to everybody here that the person who actually made
Yeah,
the
the person who
stereotypical
said
and
stuff.
racist statements
Of
against
course.
black
Not
people,
getting
he is
the-
skating this week and he's smiling.
And
he's
why do
Yeah,
black
yeah,
and why
yeah.
do black
The truth
people
of the
always
matter-
come for the
you
black
can
people?
talk about how
yeah,
Let's
fair
attack
enough.
that guy
Fair
with the
enough.
same vein.
No, fair enough,
You can talk
actually.
you can talk all day about
Yeah.
how you expect better from people who are
Yeah,
actual members
that's
of your
actually
community.
nice
like
But I'm
that.
not gonna lie, bro. It sounds like the truth of the matter is we only hold accountable people who have made it clear that they care whether or not we think they are good people.
Right.
Bro,
Somebody who has
Black people-
accepted the fact that
That's
he's the
true.
villain, we leave
Also,
him.
also, what I feel like
That's
is,
what I was just. That was
That's
what
what I feel like is some people are actually just missing the point in terms of now people are not doing it from the point of view of they said this. Some people it's coming from just I hate these guys. So this is my opinion.
Right.
No,
Twitter's
no,
like,
can,
no,
can I
would you-
disagree with that?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's coming from the reason why the black people will go for them instead of the people who've actually made the statement.
Yeah.
It's coming from a place of like I feel like betrayed by you.
Right.
Like you're meant to have my back. Like you're meant to tell that guy
Yeah.
to shut the fuck up.
Right.
And instead you are laughing. It's coming from
Right.
a place of betrayal. So why are you doing that? You get it? It's like
Yeah.
it's like we don't have an expectation for that particular man.
Right.
That I'm not gonna say all white people, but that particular white man. You don't have an expectation
Yeah.
for that guy to back us or
Apologize.
think good of
Yeah,
us.
right.
But like when somebody is like, it's like if you have your babe and your baby standing with another guy. I know this might be extreme, and the guy is saying, "Nah, that your guy is a pussy." Like you want your babe to be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up." Like you get it.
Yeah.
Like, you might be pissed off that the guy said
Yeah.
that, but you're not
Yeah.
gonna get mad at the guy.
But let me ask you a
Yeah.
further
Like,
question
you
now.
know, yes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a further question
that's
now.
kind of where it's
You
coming
don't
from.
have any expectations for the Andrew Schultz guy in terms of respectability and what he says. Why should they? Because if they're going on this
No,
podcast
wait.
already knowing that
Because-
he's a
because
nigga
they
who
are
spouts
black,
those
they
kinds
are
of
allies.
opinions,
That's what I was
like,
gonna say.
if they are
I
not
think
so,
it's
wait,
really important
I'm
to-
big. I'm dying, man.
I think from their perspective, it's really important to know the podcast you're going on, know
Thank
your
you.
audience.
Yeah.
That guy's audience, that Andrew's audience expects what he says of
Yeah.
him. They
Yeah.
tune in every week or however often he posts his podcast to hear those statements from his mouth.
Right.
That's his fan base. They know what they're
The
expecting.
racist.
So you, as you know your own fan base and your team knows your own fan
Right.
base, why would you collaborate with them?
Thank
That's
you.
what doesn't make
Okay,
sense.
And that's what
again,
people.
it's
That's
never
what
been
What
people.
would you
awkward.
expect to
But-
be?
Yeah.
Like,
Never
like,
have been
why
awkward.
would you
I
collaborate
would
with them? It
also
just
say,
makes no
I
sense.
also say every type of PR still works. The reason why I say that is because
Fair enough.
they're trying to get a
I
bigger
believe that.
audience. at
So
the
you
end of
think
the
that
day.
guy's fans are going to be
So
their fans now?
they're not coming on that podcast to say, okay, just because you know this guy said something wild, we should sit down and expect that. You understand? So also they said they reviewed the clips and they went through and they took out what they didn't want, they didn't like. Me personally, I feel like more times it probably went over their head. You know, sometimes you might look at something and say, yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? It's
I get what you're
Like,
saying.
like
Like
yeah.
the same way you're saying that
Yeah.
you don't expect anything
Yeah.
from those guys, like they can hear him talk and just be like, yo,
I
you
don't
never said
agree.
My
this.
problem with the whole everything you just said is that if, like, let's say I'm a person that just thinks all press is good press, negative press, positive press, whatever. If I then do something that's negative press, I won't go out and apologize. for it
Apologize,
because
yeah.
I wanted
Yeah,
negative
yeah,
press.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact that they've done it, then apologize is just like.
Yeah, but those two
What are you
boys,
doing?
those two guys are soft. That's the reason.
And
So
also,
that's
don't-
why-
yeah, that's
okay,
another
wait,
thing.
No, I
And
should
don't
know
forget,
I don't
they
know
might not
that.
have apologized because they genuinely
Yeah,
believe they
yeah,
did something
yeah.
wrong, but
One
because
at a
their
time,
sponsors
one
are
at a
telling
time.
If you
them.
want to apology now, it's not only James. James was the
But
one
don't,
that
they might not have
Yeah, yeah,
apologized
yeah,
because
yeah.
they.
Like, if we
No, it
all
wasn't
talk at the
James,
same
it was
time,
Fahud that was
the
doing
audio
it.
will be like,
Fahud was the one that was
James
speaking
was
most of the time.
Who spoke throughout?
No,
And for the
it was
record-
Fahud that was speaking. The
Fuad was just not in his head.
No,
Yeah.
Fahud is the black one or the white one?
Voice named
Black
Fawad.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought. Sorry.
James spoke throughout that
Oh,
apology.
sorry. That means James, yeah, you're right. I think it was an assumption.
Yeah,
I thought
James-
Fuhad was the right one.
James spoke throughout
So,
the apology.
sorry,
Fuad was just there nodding his head.
Are we sure that Fuhad is not the mixed race
Fuad is
one?
the black
No,
one.
Fuad is the
black one.
Oh yeah, then never mind. Fuad actually did laugh
Yeah,
when they were
so,
making
like,
this
yeah.
big jokes. I thought it was the white one that didn't
Yeah.
laugh.
So, yeah, exactly. So like throughout the apology, James was just speaking, and you can hear from the apology that this wasn't okay. We just need to do this so we don't get cancelled. Because obviously,
That's
this is
The
source
bread
of
and
income.
butter.
Yeah. Not
I
the
get
bread,
it, but
but
like,
Yeah,
And
these guys are making
Okay, but how
good
many
bread.
takes do you think they did to do that apology?
Probably like 5.
But I can't like wait. Actually, I have
But
a
wasn't
controversial
the
take to
apology
build
live
that,
on a
though.
podcast?
No,
No,
I mean
it
it wasn't live.
Like, it was on tape.
But it was on a
recorded.
podcast. The other thing I'll say is I don't agree that it went over their heads. Like that's one thing I'll say.
I agree
like,
with that one,
If
100%.
you rewatched it, because I don't watch that podcast like my cousin does. I see him watching it. But if you rewatched it and you saw those statements being made, you will feel a way, bro.
Even forget about rewatching
Like you feel
it.
a way. Like
Yeah.
imagine
Wait,
being
wait.
being in your office with your colleagues and they're like, "Oh, black women are so aggressive." Like, bro,
Right.
come on, like, bro.
No,
you
but
feel
wait,
a way,
Timmy,
bro.
wait.
You feel a way, bro.
Right.
You will.
Because for me, wait, Timmy, before you say something, let me just add to that. Because I get what you're saying in terms of like, okay, it could have gone over their heads. But let's remember now, if they really did not care or it really went over, if they're asking you, oh, black women or white women, you say what you want to say. When you start sugarcoating things or laughing, you know that because what they're asking you is controversial. You know that what they're asking you can either make you or break you. So you're here laughing, you're saying, all the questions they were asking them are like, oh, it's because of this, they're laughing, they're not saying, they're asking you all these questions.
And let's point out, they didn't even just do a chuckle, like Kiitan said earlier, oh, he might chuckle. They did this, and they laugh like that on their podcast. They laugh like that.
all your
Let's
teeth, bro.
Everything that you
They
guys just
laughed
listed.
a lot, and they laughed like that.
Yeah.
Like, they laughed like, yo, like this is some funny shit. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of split because I get the whole thing of like comedy, like that comedy,
Right.
but like there's also the part of me that feels like, and I know that
Certain things
any
shouldn't
white
be
person,
joked
any white
about,
person or
yeah.
anybody of any race that watches me say this is the, but like I also feel like only black people can make fun of black people. Where
Thank
I feel
you. I
comfortable.
agree with that.
But
Leads on to my own hot point.
But I'm not gonna lie,
No one should
we
be
make
making
fun of everyone, bro.
anyone. We're all human.
And I'm sure
We're not good at
have
taking
emotion.
jokes, bro.
No, but I'm sure they make fun of us too in their own safe space. The same way that, for
But
example,
I am
black
scared.
black
You know,
people.
I scared.
Let me say, I'm scared of black people.
I'm not part of
Black
them.
people is like if you're saying something that everybody has their own inside joke. Every community, white, black, Asian, whatever, everyone has their own inside joke. The same way the guy that was there he's an Asian guy and he said that his parents told him that you can't do business with Muslim people or you can't do business with Nigerians. I'm sure there's an inside joke in your own place. Not saying that that's acceptable or whatever.
The
But it's like
inside joke
if
is
your
racism.
father is telling you that, like some of our parents say some things that are very problematic. I'm not going to go to a person that they're saying that's what I say.
Racist.
My parents said this about you because you understand time and place, politically correct. So it's like if white people are saying stuff about black people, I'm sure they do in their own safe space. But to come and tell me a black person to that means you give 0 Fs.
Okay.
And that
also
one I
do
will not
believe
say.
sorry to like one point kind of build up on everything that guys have amalgamated, and it might like come
Come
across as a bit.
please stick to 3 syllables.
My
I've only heard about that one when it was about Nigeria. An amalgamation of Niger
Let him
area
talk.
like, or something.
This is gonna sound kind of
My
controversial, but
dictionaries
like
are home.
as a concept, like on a base level, I don't believe in re-educating colors.
Fair enough.
Wow.
That's true.
Okay, can
Is that your hot
I
take?
believe in dismantling the system of colorism and how it affects us all on a broader
Jeez,
level.
what
I
is
don't
that your-
believe in re-educating
Shout out
individuals.
to my lecturer.
Is that your hot take?
Yes,
Shout out
because
to
I don't
my-
believe
Can I
in.
ask my
I don't
question?
believe in convincing people that you are a viable option,
That's
whether
what I'm
romantic
It's always
or
a
whether
lawyer, by the
human-wise,
way.
whether- So if there's a group of
No, Toby, give
Like-
me
Go
a hot
about
take.
dismantling it as a concept.
without doing the individual thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where you now work to ensure that there are vertical and horizontal equity laws in place to ensure
Yo,
that.
yo,
Shout
yo,
out-
yo, yo,
shout
yo,
out-
yo.
shout out-
Basically, the whole
Shout out
point
to all the
is.
sides.
I know it's easier said than done.
Shout out to all the
It's
sides.
now.
We're not playing
Let
chess.
Kiitan finish.
here.
Let Kiitan finish.
There are
I'm not
two
like
aspects
wait,
to
wait, wait.
discrimination, okay? Discrimination is a system based on how people think and feel towards people who don't look
Did
like
you
them.
read this in the textbook?
Let him finish.
And then
Bro, bro's a
discrimination
lawyer,
is
man.
also the very
that
tangible real
masters?
ways in which that that action
out to
manifests. If that makes
education.
You're
sense.
going to have to tell me what discrimination is because I
Let
don't know
me
what
finish, Toby.
Let him finish.
Oh, bring out your phone.
Guys, let him finish. Let him finish his point.
Let me start
Kiitan.
again and try and make it simpler.
Okay.
Hey,
I can
Siri.
hate black people. Of course.
That's a hey Siri.
I can be a racist, okay? I
Okay.
hate black people. I stopped this person who applied for to my office from getting a job because he's black. Those are two completely separate actions. I feel as though one of those can be dealt with through the law and the system that we have. One of those cannot. And I think we have bogged ourselves down as a community trying to fundamentally change the way people think when they don't, like, at a base level, believe that there's anything wrong with the way people think. And I think that's a problem, because now, if you convince people who have never in their lives grown up believing that, like, black women are a viable option romantically, you will never get them to a point where they genuinely, from their heart, want to date and be with black women.
And I
They're just
agree
going
with
to
that.
force them to be with them.
Yeah, but no one's saying that. Please, this is reminding me of that Mike and Patricia. Mike and
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Like this, I have 2 questions, by the way. Should I say them one at a time?
Say them together so that
Okay. So my first question is this: like, do you feel like if the guy who was making those jokes was black, because we touched on like how black people can make jokes about black people, do you feel like they would have been easier on them if the guy was black?
No.
Okay.
That's why I said it came from a place of hatred.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why.
And the second question is like, guys, come on, I forgot my second question.
Hey.
Hold on. What was my first question?
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, if it was black, it wouldn't be. I think it will still give the same reaction. The reason why I'm saying that is also the reason why the outrage is that much is also coming from a place of hatred. You know, like with social media, not everyone wants to see you win. At the end of the day, if you're doing so well, people are like, I can't wait for this person to slip up, because when the person slip up, you have the opportunity to say, this guy did this, this guy did this. You have your favorite artist that
they're
people
waiting on
hate.
Yeah.
You still jam the music, but when the person slips up, everyone has something to say.
Right.
You get what I'm trying to say? If Davido should slip up anytime now, the guy's already ready to lay out the ammo.
I get what you're saying, but I don't. No. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree.
Davido fan,
OBO.
Please, I beg, not on this podcast. Not on this podcast. But before we get to that, I agree. I get where you're coming from, Timmy. But the reason I don't necessarily agree, I think the reason why this had an outrage is because it's a topic that is hot. It's a conversation that the women have been having since the end of time. It's not necessarily, if it was something else that the conversation was that rattle people, I'm sure there's people that be like, yes, I told you guys these guys are weird. But it's because it was something that was such a controversial topic. Like, people, as black women, especially, even if you don't come out and say, something about abuse or whatever, even just saying publicly that, I prefer white women, or just posting can create so much outrage. That's the truth of the matter. So let's be for real. It's the fact that, like,
what did you say?
I said with black...
I absolutely don't agree with that.
No, it
wasn't
can't.
not just Angel Reese last week that was posting about how guys need to go and get the white man because black men are not taking
No,
care.
I get what you're saying. I'm not saying that's what I'm not saying that.
It's a woman's world.
Wait, let me finish this. I'm not saying
it's a woman's
So
world.
what I'm saying, thank you, but that's not even what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I'm trying to say that, like, the reason why, like, the conversation of, like, black men dating white women is something that is a touchy topic. That's what I'm saying. It's a hot take. The reason why it causes outrage is because black women have been talking about this for the ends of time, since the beginning of time, to be honest. And I understand what you're saying, that Reese and whatever, those girls from Atlanta that from Houston or whatever, that they were saying that, get you a pasta and lobster. I understand that. But the reason that did not create outrage is because black men don't give a toss. You guys... Okay, wait. I'm not saying...
On Twitter,
Is this generalization?
Okay, hold up. This is me. Okay,
Twitter
fine.
This
When I say
Twitter's not real
generalization,
life.
wait.
I think it's late.
I'm saying in terms of, like, in comparison to how many black women, like, I understand I'm not saying that no black man cares, and this is going to go back to what I said last episode. I'm going to use a lot of definites, but I'm not generalizing. It's just the way I speak.
I do that
But
as well.
yeah, so I'm not saying that every single black man does not care. Of course, there's some black men that, especially the Dr. Umars of the world.
We speak up about it.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot more black men do, like, the same way this whole thing caused the whole public. It's not the same with this thing. How many people? I didn't really see anybody come and say, how can they say pasta and lobster? In comparison to when a black man says, I only like date white women. It's more outrage. Women are more...
That? Do you know why?
I'm not saying that that's correct. I'm just saying that that's...
Exactly. But do you know why that is, though? But basically, essentially, you're describing the core of the issue here. There's one side of it that speaks out and complains about it more.
Right.
And then it's so funny because do you know the funniest thing? I'm actually going to preface this by saying, I don't date outside my race. I'm really sorry.
Me too.
If you're aware.
What does
Shout
preface
out to all my black
queens.
queens.
Say it before you say something else.
Yeah.
But, like, but I do think that when it comes down to it, if somebody looks you in the eye and tells you, like, bro, come on. Like, a lot of the black women that you now find online who be yanning, all these NBA players get rich and they start this. Bro, search their tweets. It's not even just they like their tweets.
Yeah.
They like white men.
Yeah. White
And
men,
the
like
truth of the
women.
matter, none of us, like, none of the black men, at least not Misha, nobody even said it's a bad thing to like white men. Do you know?
Yeah.
But if you're on here talking
it's
about
about girls.
black men can't date white women without saying, you hate them, they hate their moms. Why are you dating white men? Like, that just makes sense.
A lot of them actually hate their dads, though.
I don't know about any of that, man.
Let Orin say his hot take, please. Orin, what's your
So
hot take?
my hot take is, and I'm speaking to a lot of black people out there, you know.
Shout
Shout out to all my black
No,
people.
but everyone should feel free.
don't let the N-word get to you.
Oh.
You know,
Brandon.
I feel like
Don't come on here and be a coon.
Where's
I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Don't be a coon
I'm
on
not
here.
being a coon. I'm not being a coon. Wait, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
I don't want to hear you. There's nothing to be
Let
heard.
him land.
Let me finish
Okay,
now.
let
Let
him
me
This-
finish.
this
Let me
cannot
finish.
land.
Wait, let him land. Go ahead.
Let me finish. Personally,
This cannot land.
We're not on Emirates. This cannot
Okay,
lie.
please go ahead. Go ahead.
personally, I feel like when the N-word gets to you, we get very emotional. We start to act out. And I feel like as a people, if someone calls me the N-word, I don't like the N-word personally.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the N-word. I don't like what it stands for.
Yeah.
But if someone calls me the N-word, man, Omo, that's your own.
Yeah.
You're not going to get an emotional reaction from me because that's not what I'm about.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. Timmy, go.
What you're saying, I hear it, but at the
don't
same
hear it,
time, wait, no, at the same time, that's wrong. You know why?
Why?
When someone's calling you a nigga, they're not calling you a nigga to call you a nigga.
That's exactly what I told
There's
you.
literally an intention.
That's
towards it.
exactly what
It's
I
the
told
there
you.
was-
audacity
And
that's
if
the
there wasn't
problem.
any other word, if there was another word for nigga, they would use it as well.
Yeah.
So it's not a thing of my nigga. That is
They're not just
those
trying
are
to
Yeah.
say a word.
those are
Yeah.
different.
Like, there's a
It's in their heart
specific-
and
Yeah, but it's
their
deeper
mind.
than that.
It's
It's-
embarrassing in a word.
It's coming from hatred. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
why
yeah,
is someone
yeah.
coming up to you and saying,
Yeah.
nigga?
I
Can I
understand
tell a
that.
quick
I
story?
understand
Not
that.
just a
Wait,
word.
can I tell a quick
No,
story?
no, wait. I understand
White
where you're
people
coming
say
from, but that's not
what's
my
going on?
point. That's
Okay,
not the
what's
point
your
I'm
point?
making. The point I'm making is not, there's hate. Or clearly, if somebody calls you a nigga, they hate you.
He doesn't
Yeah.
use the
Clearly.
It's about not letting them get
Yeah.
right.
Sorry.
So,
Sorry.
have you ever been called a nigga?
Yeah, I have. I have
By
been
what
called a nigga
person?
before.
And what
Yeah.
did you do? You get a handshake.
No, bro. I just walk away.
Okay, wait. Can I tell a quick story?
I literally just walk away. You just have
Okay.
to
Can I
act
tell a
like
quick story?
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
I
this
was-
story. The train.
No, in fact, I can tell that story, but
Yeah.
that story is even a whole complete. In fact,
Uh-huh.
I'll kind of meld them together. But I was in school, right? I
Story.
went to boarding school here, and I had a lot of white friends, obviously, because it was an international school.
Mm.
And this one guy in particular, he was my roommate. We had literally done like confirmation classes together. We were family friends. I had stayed in his house, bro. So there was this one night I came down for dinner, and he sat in my seat or something, or I sat in his seat or something. And we're fighting over the seat. He's like, "Oh, you need to get up." And he tries to like sit down and shove me out the way. I'm just like, "Bro, like, let me have my seat." And we're fighting over a seat. We're two people just fighting over a seat. And at one point, he literally just looks at me and he grabs the tray that's in my hand. He just yanks it and he's like, "Bro, just give me the food, you fucking nigger." This is my
Goddamn.
deepest of family friends.
Wait,
Like,
wait,
brother,
wait.
every time my mom calls
Goddamn.
me,
This
my
one
mom is
asks
asking
about
after
him.
this guy.
So
This
what
is
did
my
you do after
friend.
that?
But he knew that, like,
What,
no,
Orion,
No,
what
no,
is
no.
the
So
reaction
that's
for
not
kids?
my.
he had
see,
that thing like a knife ready
Yeah.
to go. And the problem is, I
Exactly.
get what you mean in terms of, bro, you shouldn't let people get a rise out of you. The truth of the matter is, I was the person who, in that school, I got in trouble a lot.
Right.
Because every single time somebody did something that was racist to me or said a racist
Me
word,
too.
I would scrap. Like, I would literally,
Yeah, me too.
sometimes I'll actually like physically fight.
Mm.
I would end up in the principal's office because people will start telling me, "Oh, they're just words. Words can't affect you."
Yeah.
You know, the
I
truth
had a
of the
similar,
matter
I
is
had a
that, like,
similar story.
when you
yeah.
know for a fact that, like, it's not just a word, bro. There's
Mm.
centuries of history behind
That's
that
not my
word.
point.
And there's like a
I hear what
genuine
you're saying.
patriotic
I hear what you're saying. I
reaction
agree
that
with
bubbles
you.
up straight
But that's
from
not my
chest
point.
if I
What is your
hear
point?
So
somebody
my
say it.
point is that in a situation like that, right, bro? At least now you know that that guy is racist. At least now you know. If
You need to
imagine
make him
walking,
see that
imagine being on,
again.
Let him
imagine,
land, let him land.
imagine walking through the street, yeah,
Yeah.
and there's people that are thinking, rah, nigga.
Okay.
And like you never know. You're going for interviews, you're going for this, you're going for that, and you just don't know.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, if someone's a racist, at least
Yeah.
you know the guy is a racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you start like getting so emotionally riled by, you know, a word, which fair enough you can be. It's the reaction after that.
I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I
yeah,
get-
it's more pain.
I get what you're saying.
It's
and
more
it's-
pain for you.
I get what
bro.
you're saying.
Bro,
And
bro,
it's the
not
mature
dumb.
thing
That
to
It's
do.
more pain
analogy
for
is
you.
dumb.
Because in that
Let me
situation, right? Do you know what?
That analogy
Wait,
is
let
dumb.
me finish, bro. Let me
Like,
finish.
it's not that it's dumb.
Because
I
in
get
that
what he's saying.
situation,
What he's
wait,
asking
now
people
let
to
me
do
finish
is the
now.
mature thing to do.
In that
The problem is
situation-
not everybody is mature, and you can't keep
in that
asking people to be
situation,
mature.
Yeah.
and that's why it's my hot take. In that situation,
Yeah.
in that situation,
Wait,
it's
wait,
okay
wait,
for you to go,
I'm
rah,
gonna
this
say
guy,
something.
this guy's a racist.
Yeah,
He's no
yeah,
longer my
yeah.
family
Oh.
friend, bruh.
Of course I did that, but like,
Okay, what
how
did you
the
do in
fuck
that
does that help
situation?
me?
Did you beat him up?
Yeah.
Broski, you
Obviously I vexed, and like, no, do you know the funniest thing?
What did
That was-
vexing do for you?
Let me
What would
finish.
maturity
Do you know the funniest thing?
Let me
What did your
finish
maturity
now.
do
What
for
does
you?
vexing do for you?
What did your maturity do for you?
Kiitan,
Because the problem is your maturity makes you feel better.
cannot
The exact same way
believe
my
this.
anger makes me
I'm
feel
so
better.
sorry.
You're not better than me for it.
It's a point of
cannot.
view, though. It's a
Okay,
point of view.
No, no,
It's
no.
just a
Can I-
different
can I
one.
say
I
something?
never said I was better than you because of
Can I say
that.
something?
Wait,
What?
wait.
Okay.
Timmy,
First
go.
of all, shout out to all my niggas out there. What's going on?
It's Tim's OG.
So yeah, what you're saying is not wrong, and what you're saying is not wrong.
Right.
This is not a thing of maturity or how.
Yeah.
Maturity is not the answer to this question.
The problem is from the person who is saying it. We should not say you shouldn't get a rise out of it, because at the end of the day, there's a meaning behind calling someone a nigga. At the end of the day, if you know something's wrong, why are you so ginger to say the word? Do you understand? There's a reason why you're saying the word, to get a reaction.
Exactly.
I schooled in Dubai now. I had some white guys come up to me and like, yo, hey, can I say the word nigga? Like, why do you need to say it?
So why do you want to?
Brother.
That's so weird. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? They know the reason why people say nigga. It's not to say, yeah, that's my G. Do you understand? They're different. You could call me your G now. So why are you so ginger to say, I've seen a black man, let me call him a nigga? Based on what? You already know the history behind it. No one's
I won't lie.
And I do.
As
But
somebody
what
who's very
happened when he
wait.
called you a nigga?
nothing now. I'm not a violent person. Neither do I vex. I just let things slide. But in my head, I'm like, yo, you're really stupid.
And
Yeah, but why did you let things slide? Why?
Wait, but
Wait,
that's
It's going to my point.
Okay,
Why?
The reason
Why?
why I let things
Leading
slide
question.
because first of all, at the end of the day, black people are always going to be at a disadvantage. Exactly what Kiitan said. I will be the one to vex. And at the end of the day,
Yeah,
they will not
the
know
one
the
that's
reason why
gonna
I'm
be-
vexing.
Yeah.
And that exactly is my point.
But then that's what. Wait,
It's not that the
wait,
word is
wait,
bad.
wait,
Can I say-
wait,
can I
I just
wait,
also
wait,
want to
wait,
point
let me-
out
can I say something?
But
everybody
That's
involved in the
stressful.
civil rights movement had like the same maturity and appeasement
Black people
standpoints.
still be
that
slaves.
Not the same thing.
Yeah.
Still be slaves.
No,
Not the
I
same
agree.
thing.
I agree. No, I agree. So let me
At
just
no
say
point in
something.
history have
Not
the
the
Wait,
same
oppressed
thing.
ever given
guys,
the oppressed,
thank
like,
you,
rights.
thank you.
There's a
Thank
soul
you.
hot in this room.
Yeah, it is.
Because
Yeah,
what?
so what I was gonna say was that I used to have a very, it's different but sort of similar mentality to Ariel, where in terms of like me personally, I feel like I used to think that if a white person called me the N-word, I was like, I wouldn't care, because not that I wouldn't care, like I won't be offended, but I wouldn't let them get around me because that's what they wanted. So for me, it's like if a random person, this is like a random person on the street, it's happened before. They'd be like, something nigga. I've been in class where one girl was singing a song and she went like, nigga, and I was like, Anya. And then she was like,
Shout out my nigga, Anya.
sorry. But the fact that she
Gonna
even
find
felt
you.
comfortable enough to even sing a song that had the N-word in front of me, it kind of shows that lack of care. Like, who said it? Like, they
What song was
know. I don't know what song. I barely listen to rap,
My
to be
nigga,
honest.
my nigga.
Maybe it was something like that, but it was a song that had the N-word and she said it, and I was like, but for me, even a stranger on the road, I was kind of like, I didn't let it. I would like, if they ever called me, something, and they wanted to insult me and they said, you nigga. But that's my personality, because I feel like even if someone says something knowing that they want to offend me, I try not to let it offend me. However, context is important, because in the situation that Kiitan was in, that can make me flip a switch. Because someone that you thought you were close to, someone that you thought had a respect for you and stuff, and even if it's not in that exact situation where it's someone that you're close to, every situation is different, right? It depends on the situation and the context that you're in. So it's like, even though it's easy to say, okay, don't get upset or don't let things bother you, sometimes some things can just like, it's the shock of the audacity that could just make your head like flip, and then you have the reaction. And even though naturally you're like, I don't want to have this reaction or whatever, it's like, it's not black and white. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not black and white, and it's like, it depends on the situation before you can react or not react. Does that make sense?
No, you
I
definitely
I hate that the
Sure
focus
about
is
that.
always on how to respond to disrespect.
I
No,
hear it,
Toby,
but-
tell me why what I
To
said was
build on
dumb.
that,
Yeah.
wait, just quickly. To build on that, I think someone saying the word doesn't mean much, we should let people say the word, and someone then talking about a reaction to the word that two completely.
Completely, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like you can't just say, people can say nigga how they like, because like it shouldn't bother me. And that's totally different to your reaction to when someone says the word to you.
I agree.
If you open this Pandora's box, it's just gonna be a disaster.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like there's a reason the word is the word has so much meaning. There's a reason the word has so much behind it, because of what people went through, because of the color of their skin that
Right.
we now have.
Yeah.
So to say that anyone can just say the word willy-nilly is
No, but-
it's just.
You see,
Or the
I agree
focus
with
of the
you.
reaction.
Just to reply,
And it's
I
never in the
completely
right
agree with you.
context.
But my
I also
statement,
feel like it's
my
Maybe next.
statement was not that people should say the word whenever they
shouldn't
like.
It's your reaction.
Mine was the reaction.
But
And
that's
I
the
understand
thing,
the
yeah.
emotional implications
That's
behind it,
not
but
your
just
idea, but-
that's all I'm
but-
saying.
then-
Toby, let Toby.
No, can I just say something?
Okay.
It's exactly what Ariel. It's exactly
Guys.
what Ariel and Kiitan said. Like, you can't tell someone how to react to disrespect.
Yeah.
As simple as it is. If someone insults
It's
you, or
assuming,
says-
easier said than
assuming
done.
everyone thinks the
Like, do you know the
same
truth of the
way,
matter, Ariel?
and that's
I
not
agree with
true.
you
Hey,
95% of the time.
God,
The other
I
5% of the time
God,
is
I
exactly
beg
when
you.
they are actually calling me. Do you grab?
Mm-hmm.
Like, every single day of the world, I will tell you that is the right thing to do. But when somebody's actually in front of my face saying it to me, dog, I'm seeing red. Like, I know it's not necessarily the most mature reaction,
Yeah.
But I'm angry.
You can't tell him how to.
I hear it.
Okay, so why did I say your analogy was dumb? Because you're
Yeah.
saying if they are thinking it and they don't say it, bro. There's a big difference between thinking something and saying it.
Exactly.
Like, bro, if you're walking with your babe and the guy's like, that's a nice ass, I'd love to slap that. And if he slaps it,
We
it's
don't
completely
condone.
different.
We don't
You
condone.
don't
But I do
condone
think-
that, obviously, but it's
Nah.
completely different.
I do hear his
No,
points
he
on.
does
Nah,
have
nah,
a
nah, nah,
point.
nah,
I do
nah,
identify
nah,
with
nah,
points
nah,
on. If
No,
somebody is
no, no.
racist,
Wait,
I'd rather
wait,
know
hold
than
on.
not.
No, Toby
Yeah,
actually does
exactly.
have a point.
No, but okay,
Because
yeah.
Toby has a point because there's so
Wait,
many
hold
things.
on. Let me finish. Let me finish rounding up the points.
Okay.
Sure, Toby, and then you can talk after me.
See how you just antagonized.
Bro.
Why?
I'm sorry. Made her angry.
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
But like the thing is like, what did I say? I said it's different thinking it and saying it. Like when they
Yeah.
say it, there's a lot of things that come behind saying it. They are saying it to hurt you. It says a lot about how they view you.
Right.
Like you are
They've
smaller
thought
than them.
about
Like there's a
it.
lot
And they've
of
already
there's a lot
thought
of
about
And they're like,
consequence.
and it's
it
like
could possibly
Yeah.
and it's
run.
like all of those
Because
things
there's
coming
so-
together in
Sorry.
your mind at once. Like this guy just called me a nigger. One, he said it to offend me. Two, he knows it's offensive. Three,
Right.
like it shows how little he thinks
You
of
think
you.
of you.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of things that come
I
together,
agree.
and
I
like you
agree.
can't tell someone how to react to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, maybe you are the most mature person in the world, and like you're gonna look at me and you're gonna say, "Oh, thank you, Bob," and keep walking. But like,
Bob is
bro,
a
like,
crazy name.
And
Bro,
also,
like-
I won't
Wait,
lie.
so the
people
dumb
only
part
try
about
people that
the
they think they
dumb
can
part
try.
about the analogy
Because that's
is
another
what?
thing. Like,
saying that they are thinking it, they might be thinking it, but they're not saying it.
I can't
Okay,
lie.
so would
feel
you
like
rather
the
know
moment
someone's
you-
racist or not?
I'd rather
No.
no, the things I'd rather know, but I'd rather you don't call me a nigger.
Yeah, there are ways to know.
I
There's
do
ways to know
identify
without you
with-
calling me a
yeah,
nigga.
The moment we start minimizing it to the point of either a non-response or a gloss
Yeah, I
over
remember what I was
response,
gonna say.
it just gives people the confidence to continue saying it to various other people.
And also,
And that's not where we want to be.
there's a very real individual aspect to it. For example, now you see that Corleone guy on Instagram.
Yeah.
I promise you, there's a guy here that he can call me a nigga.
Wait,
You can look
no,
at that
no,
guy.
nigga,
You think
no,
twice,
no,
because you know why? Because so when you not say it to me, I'm not
Right,
thinking.
you know
Yeah,
what's gonna
and-
Is
go
it because
on.
you don't think that like?
Toby mentioned thinking it and saying it. We're all people, we're all human beings. There's so many things we think about, but we don't say it because
Right.
this thing cannot fly. It's not going
I
to
hear it,
run.
I hear it,
But
I
the
hear it.
fact that they've been able to think it, they now want to vocalize it.
Yeah,
There is a
crazy.
part of them that
Vocalize?
thinks this shit is going to run.
Yeah.
And that is where I have an issue with.
Right.
Because it doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
at all.
Quick one, yeah. You know those like, American guys that say the N word, and you look at, and then people that you look at, and you're like, "Oof, that
Like
didn't really
Drake?
hurt me."
Not black, but in America they let the Hispanics say that and what, and I feel like it's because the American
You guys think
very
everybody's
hot take,
gonna
but
say
it's not my hot
Trials
take.
and tribulations.
Let me
that's
get there.
I know black. I don't.
I'm about to get there, but like I'm about to be dragged for this. I ain't gonna hold you. But you know, the reason why Americans look at Hispanic people and they think, oh yeah, like you can say it, is because they don't actually understand where Hispanic people come from. These are people from Spain that have come to no, for real. No, I'm not saying that they are Afro Hispanics, but even the Afro Hispanics in the white Hispanics called the Afro Hispanics nigger. Like I've heard
Yeah,
Afro
but they're
Hispanics.
Indians as well.
Yeah, of course, they're indigenous
I
people, but that
beg your
still does not
pardon.
mean. Wait, regardless of, we can Google. Please, are you
Okay,
Googling it?
Hispanic is generally accepted as a narrow term that includes people only from Spanish-speaking Latin America,
you.
including those countries and territories of the Caribbean or from Spain itself. So
Thank
you can
you.
be from Spain, but you don't have
Thank you. And they are white Hispanic people. Let's start there. They are Afro-Hispanic people who are originally from Africa or different parts of the world, Caribbean, wherever, that live in Mexico or live in Dominican Republic, all these different places. But a lot of the people that you see, the spicy whites that you're talking about, they are still whites. The girls that have the hair that look like whatever, they are still white. But in America, they will see them. Who's a... Not Rita Ora, she's black. She's not black. Who's
She's not black. She's not black.
Okay, she's Albanian. Sorry. The woman from Modern Family. Sofia Vergara. They can see her and allow her to call the N-word because she is Hispanic and they feel like they have a... They do
I
that.
can't lie, man. Me,
No,
I'm from
that's a
Ikeja.
white
I don't
woman.
think
But
I'm
they say
equipped for this
Hispanic...
conversation.
They say Hispanics are allowed because, they're also a minority. They're not basically black. They don't look like you. They're not black because in Mexico, they're calling people that look like you nigga. Let's start there. But anyways, that's enough of this hot topic.
Can I just ask? There's a thing where like in the UK, they say black and ethnic minority. And one thing I noticed is whenever any ethnic minority is going through a struggle, they always reach back to black people. Like the pillar for like struggle.
Exactly why I said
Famine
trials
culture.
and
So
tribulations.
like the pillar for struggle. Like obviously no problems with anybody saying black and ethnic minority.
wink, wink. Wink, wink.
But
Bami.
But why do we have to say black and ethnic minority? Like,
Yeah.
we don't all the ethnic minorities.
They do that.
We
PCOS.
don't have the same
Bang.
struggles as all of
Bang.
them.
PCOS.
Nah, it's bad.
POC. People of color. They group us up.
Like we all have different struggles. We all have completely different struggles.
Girls have PCOS. I'm sorry
Like
about that.
not to say this, but like there are people from other ethnic minorities that are racist to black people. But like the moment struggle comes up, they're gonna be like, oh, like black and ethnic minority people.
I agree.
I hate that they do that. I hate that they put all people of color
Mm,
together. But
that
Ariel,
takes
what's
me
your
to-
hot take?
Okay.
My hot take is so different to everyone.
That's fine. Change the direction. It's a bit hot in this room. We need to calm down.
Change it.
The room is a bit hot. We need to calm it down.
You guys are talking about sensitive stuff like race. Don't let my employer see this and be
That's
like,
what I was saying.
This guy's
That's what I was
pro-black.
saying.
If anybody asks for my name or my employer,
Bro,
my name
like-
is Tobi
So
Jacob.
Ariel is very strategic. Ariel is gonna get hired everywhere.
He said, call me nigga.
This guy's just calling him nigga.
He said, call me nigga.
I told him, guy, calm down.
Ariel's employer, please call him nigga.
Bro, you're smart. Next time I'm gonna ask you for your strategy. Before we start recording because
We heard that you like
Okay, Ariel, please, what is your hot
I
take?
have two, but I'm gonna say them really quickly, and they're not that big.
Yeah.
But my first one is I really, really, really hate hate people with MMY names. Let me expand. Let's say your name
What's
is.
that?
oh damn it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Let's say your name is Jim and you call yourself Jimmy, or
Yeah.
your name is John and you call yourself Johnny,
Johnny.
or stuff like that. I just don't understand why.
Because your name is already short.
Johnny, leave
I
me
know
go.
why it just sounds like a child's name. Like in my head, I'm just like,
Why? What's the problem?
I just think it sounds like a child's name.
Oh, that's one of your eight.
That's
get
my
that.
that's
Yeah.
a personal ick.
So we can't call you Ari.
So what? You can't marry someone called
I said,
I
Ari.
can't. Like
From
your
now,
name
I'm
is
calling you
John.
Ari.
Your name is
Penny.
John.
No,
So I
so-
can't
so-
call
so
yourself
you can't- you can't-
Johnny boy.
Timmy's an MMY. This is how you felt all this time.
But wait, I think
Let's
Ariel was
relax.
trying to say.
I'm not
Say
for it.
if your name is like, if his name was Tim and he goes by Timmy.
Yeah,
Not
like,
if your name is actually Timmy. So if your name is Abby, is that what you're trying to say? Or if your name is
that's
John and you go
exactly what
by
I'm saying.
Johnny, or your
Like,
name
your name
is
is
Ron, but you go
John.
by Ronnie.
Your name is wrong.
Johnny
Your
boy
name
also.
is short. Name.
Very
I
short.
also don't
Jimmy.
understand how white people got dick from Richard. Like,
Yo,
Yeah.
Oh, Bill from
I
Will.
don't know
What they
about
get Bill? Oh, Bill from Will. But
Would you ban to love you?
But anyway,
would you ban? Okay, what's your second one?
my second hot take is
Consciousness.
my second hot take is public proposals.
Oh,
Public intimate moments.
I
Yeah.
can't propose to my baby.
Ariel just hates love. Oh.
And the
That's because
palms.
that phrase can't
No, I
get.
can't lie.
What
Ariel,
does your babe sell on the
So,
street?
I can't propose.
What does the
the
babe sell?
palms is crazy.
What does the babe
I
sell
can't
on the
propose to
street?
my baby.
The baby
palms
is-
What does
now.
your babe sell on the street?
You can't
No,
propose to
no,
your
palms.
baby
That's
palm.
in shop right.
Yeah, but what does your babe sell on the street?
That's
Bro, I've been to
the
palms.
street babe. Alright, Ariel, why?
Because I just feel like those moments should be intimate, and also that's not even because people
Say-
people
say
can
yes,
prefer, people can prefer publicity, and that's their prerogative. But my second thing is it just puts so much pressure on the moment, and it feels like you're holding a gun to my head. Like,
Say yes.
Say yes
like
now.
it's so
Yeah.
awkward to then say no.
I get that.
If I
So people
propose to
will
you
now
and you
put
say
in a
no,
box.
you better say yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's also a thing where like that's definitely a personal preference and stuff. But I definitely
agree.
feel like it's one of those things where if anyone who's proposing to their babe without having prior conversations, they're very stupid.
very much.
Because when the babe is
Shy.
saying no, it's because maybe you had hinted marriage, and if the babe is saying, if you're saying, "Oh, my wife," and she's saying, "God forbid," and you still gonna propose, you're silly.
But I also do want to point out too, I can't lie.
No.
If I spend 6 months salary on wedding ring and I haven't eaten this week, of course your whole family must be they must see a ring from
I personally actually prefer, like you said,
They
intimate
must see a ring
proposals,
from
but it's definitely a
States,
preference thing.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like, to be
The
fair,
option
I'm
is-
not opposed to like family and friends. It's like if you propose to me like in a restaurant or in a mall or something crazy like
Yeah.
are you
I hear that.
okay?
What's the point?
Please propose to me on holiday.
And, like, with
What's
all
My
those
future husband,
strangers,
Cubana and
I
Kulas
don't
is crazy.
mind,
Cubana,
but,
Your
like,
baby-
proposing in front of
He
the
was
CS
right.
section of
Where did your babe? What does your babe
Your babe
sell?
sells pepper.
Timmy,
This guy's babe sells pepper.
By the
What's
way,
wrong with selling
babe
pepper?
is- No, nothing.
What's wrong
Nothing.
with selling pepper?
Nothing.
There's nothing
So
wrong.
you
but
don't
like,
want a situation where
Oh, yeah,
he's
so
so
don't do that.
overwhelmed with love. He just proposes before his
Yeah.
eyes.
No, I don't like. I don't. I agree with
can't be in the
Ariel.
club,
I don't
man.
like catfish.
Like real love in
Trust me, I
traffic.
don't like public proposals. I want it to
Like
be
in
somewhere
traffic,
intimate.
like you're driving, it's just like, babe, I
Yeah,
can't.
Traffic.
I had a
Even
whole plan for
if
this,
I want to say,
I can't.
People are not normal on
even if I want to say yes, I'll say no.
I don't
In traffic
understand,
is
but babes will
crazy.
say that they want a spontaneous guy, and I'm trying
No,
to
but
No, no,
that's what I'm
that's
saying. It's preference.
Just propose
But
after
I
making
can't lie. If you're proposing to your baby in cool looks, well, that says a lot more about you than it says about her.
I'm not gonna lie.
What?
The perfect proposal, just make it look me an egg and put the ring inside.
Oh, so she'll choke. Please, Toby Loba, what's your own hot take?
I said,
Shut Tobi.
shut up.
I think I should, right?
No,
I think they should. Actually.
No, on God.
Should we NBA? Abi, is that what they call it?
NBA.
I don't.
I want any guys.
Like Orion.
MMA.
Wait, Ariel, if you feel like that about proposals, how do you feel about like how should your boyfriend, ask you to be his
We're just
girlfriend?
dating. That's it now.
Are you asking for advice?
No advice, boy.
Would you want? You know how now? Okay, recently they started doing this whole "Would you be my girlfriend?" The same way they do proposals. It's a girlfriend proposal.
Balloons outside.
Would you want that? Or would you? In the olden days, they used to sit down you and ask you, sit down you. They used to sit you down and be like, "Would you be my girlfriend?" But now they have like the
I
whole.
don't think all the balloons and all that shit.
Would you want it on a dessert?
You just said that in quick text.
So if your boyfriend, let's say, pissed you off and he had a boombox and he came outside,
I would like that.
and he was dancing
No,
outside.
I would like that.
Is that
I'm going
romantic?
to tell you
I
guys.
hate non-apologies in the form of like something you do.
Oh,
I hate
fair.
it when you've done something to offend me.
Actually,
and instead of
apologize.
I
apologizing,
agree
you're
with
that.
like, oh, I bought you this cute dress.
On
Oh,
purpose.
yeah,
Yeah,
And I'm sure you
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
everybody.
you are mad.
I agree
I
with that.
swear, it wasn't upset that
African
that's what
parents do that. African parents do that a lot.
I hate
They
it.
will say
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
They come and say,
Like-
"Oh, I bought your favorite chin or something."
I hate it when, and you not do it in front of other people so that you have to like squash the beef now.
Yeah.
It's manipulation.
100%, I agree.
Yeah, actually apologize.
Yeah.
Like, what's so easy?
But before we stray too far, I'm so sorry. Toby, what is your hot
So
take?
2 hot takes. The first one, I think we should let dramatic people live. Like, we're just normal.
I agree.
people,
We're just
okay?
girls,
Like,
or boys.
Live a life
No
of
party,
flair.
no
Yeah. And my second one is, I hate when like you're telling someone that, oh, I'm upset. You now come and tell me too, I'm upset. Guy, fuck you upset.
Oh, bring it up at your own
Why is
time.
your upset
Bring it
negative
up at
and
your own
upset?
time.
I don't understand.
But why can't you tell me yours and I can't tell you mine back?
No,
No, but I can't like.
Toby.
You could have come and say it,
No,
but
Toby,
they
I
came
didn't
to
say-
tell you about
Toby,
their
I didn't know
upset.
that I could tell you until you told me.
Emotional
Yeah.
intelligence.
When I'm going through something and someone tells me that they have,
I didn't say you can't say you're
Yeah, I don't
upset.
like
You
it
can't
too.
say you're upset.
I don't like that
It depends
thing.
on how you say it. Because
No,
it-
don't bring it up
It
at
can be
all.
very hypocritical.
I don't care.
Because if
I
you're
do
telling
not
me
feel
you don't like what
down.
I do, but you do the exact same thing,
Bring it up
that's
another time.
hypocrisy.
No, 'cause
man.
No,
For
I
example,
get that,
No,
right?
no,
For example,
no.
now-
It is my hot take. If it's doing the same thing, okay, I can understand it to
Competition of the
a
saddest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
understand
me
it
too,
to
I
a
crash my
level.
car too
But
now.
if it's like, oh, I hate when you did this to me, and then he says,
You too, you used to do.
you
Yeah,
took my
I agree.
brain.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
But you
You
can't
don't
take,
say
you can't take my
That's
brain.
what you yeah, bring it up at your own time. Yeah.
If I say, oh, I'm going through a lot this week, this has been happening, and they'll be like, oh yeah, like true.
No,
like,
no, no.
Yeah, that's
So
what I
that
thought.
is somehow.
That's what I
No,
thought.
that's
No,
somehow.
no,
but
that's
my
sympathetic.
point.
Yeah.
That's what I
Mine is-
thought.
I don't
Yeah.
mind.
As
No.
long as when I'm clearing you, you now want to clear me, guys.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So
Now,
Ariel, wait.
but you know, sometimes, like, I definitely don't agree. I agree
Mm-hmm.
with you, but sometimes a lot of people say things
Yeah.
that are caused by your action. So you might do something to
Mhm.
someone, and that's their reaction. And
Okay.
you're saying you don't like their reaction, but you're the cause of the action.
Okay,
No,
I get
no,
that.
I also think I need to leave room for sometimes. There are sometimes where like, bro, somebody can do something to me and I let it slide because you're my guy, you grab. And then maybe I make a mistake and do something that's similar to you.
Yes.
And you're not lambasting me. And I'm thinking, bro, like,
It's
you saw
hypocrisy.
me let
Yeah.
it slide when you do it. So obviously I'm going to bring it up now because
Yeah.
like, why is it not flowing the same
I
way?
get what you guys are all saying, but I feel like this is completely different to what Toby is saying because I feel like what Toby is saying, and I understand because me and my friend, one of my friends, we have this, Eden, shout out, love you. We have this conversation all the time. Bring it up at your own time in terms of like, you can tell someone,
No,
okay,
no, but
wait.
this is the thing. You might not have been upset about it.
No, that's not what we're saying. You don't know,
say who's the
but you
most
don't even know what we're
upset.
talking about. I'm talking about, for example, okay, I brought KFC to studio, and then Toby J did not ask me, and he ate my KFC, right? And I'm telling you, oh, Toby, why did you eat my KFC? Like, that made me feel away. And you told me, oh, that time that you even came to England, you didn't even want to see me. And that's what we're trying to talk about.
That's what I'm
You bring
saying.
up things that are not even relevant.
But
It's
what
not
if
pertaining
I'm
to the
like, last
situation.
time my KFC was there, you ate it.
No.
Nah.
Yeah, but that one is
that's
different because
not
you're
what makes
relating.
sense.
Okay,
You're
okay,
relating to the
okay,
situation.
okay.
We're saying that, like,
Saying,
Common
oh, you
sense.
stole my shoe. Oh, you
Yeah.
stole my bag.
Yeah.
Guys, fuck you and your
Exactly.
bag.
I agree with you 100%.
You bring up something that you've been holding in your heart at this time that I'm upset
It's not,
because
it's not
you
convenient.
know exactly.
We're not
It's
trying
convenient to you.
upset
Now
each
that I'm
other.
showing you
Who
that
is
you're
the most
upset, you're like,
upset?
thank you.
I feel like that's the thing that girls do, though.
No, guys.
No, stop it.
What are you
Again,
talking about
I'm from
here?
Ikeja.
Guys
I'm very
do
good
that
for this
the most.
conversation.
I agree. I think
Shout out
girls
to all
do
my
that.
mainland
I
babes.
personally
Shout
feel
out
like
to all
girls
my
find it very
men and
difficult
women.
to
Do that, but-
apologize.
Well, you know what? The reason why you say that is because you're a guy that talks to girls, and the reason why we say it is because we're girls that talk to guys. So, from your perspective, you think girls do it more because that's your
So
demographic.
we need
but
girls
for us,
that
we'll
talk
see
to
like
girls,
guys
and we
do it
need
more
men
because
that
that's
talk
our
to men.
demographic.
Shout out
You
to all
get
my
what I'm
gay
saying?
So who
niggas.
would you feel like apologizing
Shout out
more
to
in
them.
general? You feel
lie.
like girls, guys.
I
it
think
depends.
you can't make that statement.
Yeah, I think that one
You can't make
depends.
that
It depends on the
assumption.
individual.
I know the answer.
I know the
No,
answer.
I
Wait,
don't
say that
think-
again, Toby.
Who apologizes more, guys or
No.
girls?
You know the
But
answer.
not in
You know
the
the
context.
answer.
Not in the context of a relationship.
Do you know
In
what? I
general.
didn't even hit that
Yeah.
place.
In general.
Your people apologize to you and be like, I'm so sad because I made you sad.
No, and your babe will apologize to you and be angry after she
What
apologized.
babes? What babes?
And then you're not like,
you
oh, sorry that you're sorry.
I don't like it. I don't like it when you're obsessed with me. It makes me feel so sad.
Okay. Wow. The last hot take will be from Timmy OG. You know
Okay,
the
so I
vibes.
got 2 hot takes, but I might not say.
Why is
the
everybody
number
doubling
one.
up?
I
Yeah, I
don't
know,
know.
right?
City or that one.
The first one is, why does everyone want to be Nigerian but they don't want to carry the passport? Like, what's going on?
Where does passports allow you to
Where
go?
does supposed to allow you to go?
You know, it's just content.
Our passports in the Gulf.
Everyone wants to be Nigerian now.
Who's
Why?
everyone though?
Like,
All these
the
guys are
culture,
doing fake
guy.
wedding in
Yeah, the
Canada
culture,
now.
the culture.
All these guys are doing fake Owambe in Canada.
Yeah,
I don't see
exactly.
anyone that pretends to be Nigerian.
People that want to marry Nigerian men because they want to have
All
a
of those
wedding.
guys that were doing fake
Me
wedding with
personally,
just
I'm just
UG
saying,
and them.
personally, I don't see
Fair
that
enough,
stuff,
fair
so I
enough.
don't know.
Okay, fair enough. And then what's the second one?
People in the UK don't know how to party. I'm sorry to
I agree with both of them.
I'm not gonna lie.
can't lie,
I have
yo.
to shake your hand.
This is very Atlanta has
I
no
ain't
body
even
code
gonna
here, so I'm
lie.
gonna have to excuse myself.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Atlantis has
I'm gonna
no
make
values.
it brief.
I need to shake your hand
The
again.
company you keep and the places you go.
It's not even that.
Not even gonna lie.
I've been outside before, and I'll tell you for a fact.
But I think it's also
Yeah.
because
You
the same thing
you
with
are
the
zero,
women.
bro. That is the
People don't
most
know how to party,
100% accurate hot take of today. End the whole podcast. Done is there.
And you know
Give
what?
me
I'm not
back.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's rubbing off on me. I feel like it rubs off
Pause.
on all of us.
It does.
Not
it does.
party.
Yeah, it does.
Pause.
But I think, okay, guys, this is a safe space.
Forget.
No such thing as pause. But anyway,
Guys say it's rubbing off for him. You see
no.
what the
The reason why I say that is because I feel like, to me, I understand what you're saying. And I had a conversation, something similar. I talked about this, about how the reason why it might seem that way is because the UK is a lot smaller. I feel like in America, because of how, I'm not saying that with what you guys have, you do the best job. That's not what I'm saying. But it's a lot smaller in terms of like the party hub or the party is, if you're not in uni and you're not in Leicester or Birmingham or wherever, or Manchester, the party scene is in London. And there's only so much. Okay, I'm saying you're tricky, but listen, wait, let me land. There's only so much you can
I'm
do.
next to talk.
There's a time that I used to go to Houston to party all the morning, afternoon, and night, like those. And at one point, this year I went to Houston and I was like, this is what I used to like. But the good thing about America, not the good thing, sorry, but the thing about America is so big that the Houston nightlife is so different from the LA nightlife. It's so different from the New York nightlife. It's so different even from the Dallas. Dallas is more artsy. It's so different. So because of how big America is, wherever you go, it's a completely different vibe. Whether you're looking for
Nightlife
speakeasies or
experts.
clubs or activities. But in the UK, because the hub
Have you
is
gone out?
mostly...
Have you gone out in money?
I haven't, but I'm not saying that Manchester. I'm not saying that Manchester. I'm not saying...
completely
Sure,
different
Sure,
vibes.
and I'm not saying Manchester and London. Where else?
Birms, Leicester.
That's Birmingham.
Newcastle.
Is mostly uni.
Cove.
You go to
Yeah.
Birmingham, you're there.
Yeah, different vibes.
Two pound shots. Stop
But-
it there.
but the
You
thing
can
about
party
it-
anywhere.
Penny,
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying when you go
I have
out, it's
the
mostly uni
answer to
people.
the question.
when you compare England to America as a whole,
But that's
Bro,
what I'm
bro.
saying.
Bro,
That's
stop
what.
jumping
But that
the
was
queue.
my
Stop
point.
jumping
But that
the
was my
queue.
No, I'm
point.
asking you
I
the
wanted to
question
talk
as
as
well.
well.
I'm asking you the question as well.
Yeah.
Pinel, it's not a thing of location at the end of the day because we've all traveled to different places, regardless of where you are. Party, there's a standard for having fun. You
Okay.
get what I'm
Sharing,
trying to
sharing.
say? So it's not about we're in London, there are not too many places to party. That's not it.
Okay.
Is it
You
vibes?
can
What's
be-
the answer?
you
Can I
be
tell
in
you the
best,
answer?
Wait, Joe, you can be in the
Right.
best settings with the best DJs. People are not just vibing.
Can I tell you the answer?
That's why.
What's the
So-
answer?
So bad vibes. Go ahead.
Let's
Go
let
ahead.
Tobi Yan
Let's
go.
Tobi Yan.
So let me just tell you what it is, yeah. When I've partied in London with Lagos guys, it's been good, bro.
different vibe.
It's been good. The thing
So you're
is,
saying London people are bad vibes?
no,
right?
no.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
saying- I'm not saying they're
Wait,
bad
wait,
vibes.
wait.
I'm not saying
Shout out
they're
my
bad
UK
vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Shorties,
Like
shorties.
my actual probably my main friendship group
Yeah,
now is
from-
London guys.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like, if you
yeah.
know, you know, like so.
Shut up, peeps.
The thing is, yeah. Shout out the man them.
Shout out
But-
SK,
but
shout out
yeah.
SB.
Let's
Free-
go.
free
Let's
the
go.
man them.
No,
to
no,
the
no.
free.
But
Alright,
what
let's
I'm
go.
saying is this: like London
It's
culture is very.
actually, another
London
hot
culture
take.
is very like.
It's very short, but carry on.
Short to
Yeah,
be
go
like-
ahead. Go ahead. Let's Tobi land.
London, sorry,
London.
I'm sorry, I won't say it again. London culture is very like they're very stush. Like you can't if you're in London, But when I was in Jamaica, people were doing synchronized
Yeah.
dances.
Oh, yeah,
like,
they do that.
If you're in London and you're doing that, they'll be like, oh, this guy is moist.
I
Doing
can't
too
lie.
nice.
I can't
London's
lie.
culture is too stush. Like, if
Yeah.
you're standing like this,
You
you're
can't
the
even
cool guy.
Fake
Zoto
stush
warrior.
as well.
But
If
that's
you're
how
having
brave
fun-
people in general.
If you're
though.
having fun, no.
no,
Because
no,
when
No,
you
no,
go to,
not
when you go to
partying.
Tiger in
No,
Central
I'm not
London,
saying party.
they're doing
no,
this.
I'm not saying
So-
partying. I'm saying in general, British people are stush.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
you guys are all
No,
stoosh.
black-
What
black
happens?
people are
What
British
happens?
people might be
What
still
happens?
shows, but
You
white
guys
British
even
people,
let me
they
finish.
know
If
how
you
to
see
react.
I know how to talk.
If you
They
see a
don't care.
guy doing a Zoto in the middle, like
Yo,
doing all
wait,
this
let me
sweating in
finish.
the club,
Yeah,
how
let
do
me
you
finish.
feel?
No,
Like
see,
the culture.
First of all, I'm afraid of Azonto warriors. Just saying that.
Exactly.
If you want to be my babe,
You guys are all the
do not
bad
learn how to
vibes.
do
You gotta have a
level.
betting
Toby,
babe or a
please
level
land.
babe.
Toby, please land your point.
Yo, like
not date
my
the
point is
level,
like
babe.
my point is
Thank you, Siri.
London culture is very stush. Like you can't have fun. Like London is the only place where saying this guy is excited is an insult.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
what the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
guy's too
Too
excited.
excited.
Like you can't be
Yeah.
happy because like you look
Yeah.
moist.
Yeah.
And
London
that's
is-
the reason why you can't party. Like
Yeah,
I remember like when I was in
I
uni, like, when
agree.
I was in uni, when I started uni, like first years like was like really good because people didn't really care about what people thought. Like you have your fun, like
Yeah.
you do anything you want, you dance, you go out, and then people start caring about what people think. I don't want to look moist. I want to look cool. I don't want to be stush. And then boom, the party start getting deader and deader and deader.
Yeah.
And now when we go out, that's the vibe. Like that's
fair.
I can't like
that's
that.
bad a lot of
Those
the
same
time.
people can go to a different destination and even switch up and.
But
And that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say there's one thing that's saving the party scene in London right now.
DJs
Afrobeats.
and Afrobeat.
I agree.
Piano.
I agree.
Shout out
When
to
Afrobeat
piano.
comes
Ashake, thank you.
Nobody
Shout out
cares.
everybody
Yeah,
in
everyone
that
is.
scene.
Oh yeah, care.
Forget about it. That's so
Yeah.
anyway, that's
Yeah.
my take on it.
Shout out to Nick No
No,
Piano, my
I
favorite
definitely,
genre.
I definitely get that. And I agree. To be honest, I can't like the best times I've had in London were with white people. Sorry,
Like I said,
but
British
like
people are stush.
Yeah.
White British
have
people,
yeah, they
know
have
how to
fun.
fun
They
with
have
it.
fun.
They will be
bro.
jumping. They'll be dancing. I'm
You
not
You know,
gonna lie.
and that's because they
Yeah,
don't
white
care
girl
about
wasted.
looking cool.
You know, real.
It's
But
not fun.
but
And
yeah,
drugs.
okay.
Can we please stop saying free somebody if they've actually done bad? Like there's
Free
a
on
reason
thug.
that they're locked up.
Oh, for
Free on
sure.
thug, free on thug,
There's
free on
a reason
thug.
for
why they should
sure.
not be
Free
free.
YSL,
But I
free
don't know.
slap.
I can't lie.
Real,
Free the girl.
I don't know anybody.
Free slap.
No,
I don't know anybody that's saying free
If
somebody.
they've done something wrong,
I don't know anybody that's
free
saying
them.
for anybody.
If you have done
Like-
something wrong, the prosecution would have been able to prove it by now.
free
Free
on
on
thug. I'm
thug.
not gonna lie.
So today's episode is
Free
gonna
on
be
thug.
on
Free on thug, though.
Toby.
Sorry.
Please. Today's episode is gonna be on relationships, learning, and unlearning. We kind of touched on it already, but in our hot takes or in our notes. But we're gonna be talking about learning and unlearning cultural stigmas, right? So my first question for you guys is: what is a big misconception about relationships that you've since unlearned?
I can answer that. A big
Right.
misconception about relationships in general, not
Yeah.
like culturally.
Yeah.
I think like the whole thing about like everything is gonna be easy and everything's gonna be smooth. Like you go into a relationship and like sometimes, or when I was younger, I think like when it's getting harder, or like when certain things
time
happen,
to
I feel
skip
like
out.
like it's time to step. Like it's too much. Like or like I'll rule this person. Or, like I can't be with this person. Like or like I feel like of recent I've learned like nobody's perfect. Like two people are coming from two completely different worlds, different households, and there's gonna be things they're gonna clash on. And there's gonna be things they're gonna do. They're gonna think it's okay. They're gonna think it's not okay. And it's just all about communicating it and finding the points where like you can both.
You're
meet
shaking my
and
table.
Be like happy with.
Yeah, I don't think
Mm.
soulmates are born; they're
So,
made.
yeah.
And you have to work
Yes, sir.
towards
Yeah.
You
it.
have to work. It's
But
hard work.
I don't necessarily think that there's a stigma that relationships are easy. I feel like regardless of who you are, I think what I want to touch on what you said was that like I feel like people make it seem like if it's like any small like disagreements or whatever, like okay, for example, I used to say that for me, what I don't compromise on are my non-negotiables, right? If you tick all the boxes of my non-negotiables, then let's go. That's good. Every other small thing is fine. But there's some small things that cause really big arguments, right? And I feel like those small things that cause big arguments, I think people underestimate how much it's easy, like you said, to say, I'm going to step. Because you might think, oh, maybe your non-negotiables is communication, this and that, and the person is doing all of that. But let's assume one thing that might be that you may think is not a non-negotiable is like, oh, I don't care if they tidy up after themselves. Maybe that for you, that might not be a non-negotiable. And I meet someone that doesn't tidy up after themselves. And then maybe you're telling them, oh, can you tidy? And you guys are having conversations. And then it comes to the thing where you're like, actually, I've been telling you this, and maybe I think you're inconsiderate. And then you want to step because you've not, you know what I'm saying? So small arguments, I think, touch kind of like, it's kind of like agreeing with what you said.
But
I feel like,
You know that boils down.
Small things matter.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
But this is kind of the point I was trying to make. Like sometimes, yeah, small things matter, but like your two people come from different worlds. Like,
Right.
Sometimes, like the whole idea of like, yeah, I told you 3 times.
Relationships
Sometimes you have
are
to tell people something
compromise.
10 times before they get it.
Yeah, and
Like
people are
I speak to a lot of like
Yeah.
older women who are like, oh, like my husband was a child until like 10 years into the marriage, and now he's like the perfect guy.
I can't. I'm not raising no man. So if you're a child, stay a child.
No. But that's the thing. Like he might say the same thing about the woman.
Okay, fair enough.
She was this way until this. He's like, sometimes you have to tell someone something for 3 years, 4 years before they actually get it.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
that is okay.
Yeah.
Because the devil you know is better than the one you angel.
Exactly.
Man,
I don't want to
sometimes
I know
real
you guys
love,
familiar
really
with the
patient.
sometimes real love is letting a person be their true selves, not trying to
Yeah.
control them.
Right on.
man.
Are any of you
Can't
guys
let
familiar with
I
the
think that you guys
80-20
are
rule?
this, but I don't think I agree. But go on.
Yeah.
You,
Ariel, so
you're
what
very
is
quick.
what's
Are any of you guys
something?
familiar with the 80-20?
I want to
Let
know
me just-
how
can I make a
how
point,
Ariel
please?
feels
So,
about it, though.
Are you
I wanna
guys
hear it.
familiar with the 80-20 rule?
Yes.
So the 80-20 rule essentially dictates that most of the time, we're never going to meet somebody that ticks 100% of our boxes.
Right.
Most of the people who we end up dating and even marrying or like settling within life are going to take about 80, maybe 85%.
In this
of our
generation, if you find a good woman,
Which means-
hold that forever.
Which is fact. But it also means that like there's going to be
Ain't
that
no one
chance
out
to
there
my
for
babe.
good
Facts.
women.
Guys,
Shout out
please,
to
I'm
my
still
babe
talking.
as well.
May I continue?
Yeah.
Thank you. So the point is, somebody's going to tick 80% of your boxes, but that means there's going to be 20% left on the table. And the truth is, you're probably, even while you're having problems with your babe, maybe you like your babe a lot, so she does everything you want. She's a nice person. She's considerate, but she doesn't reply your text when you text her. And all of a sudden, you now meet one new babe like this who does reply you when you text her. And you're
Gosh.
thinking, oh, she fills the exact gap and my babe doesn't. So is it that that's the person I'm meant to be with? Is it that my babe and I are not compatible? This, that, this.
Keep two of them.
If you now take that leap and you leave your babe for that babe, that's how you find out this is the kind of babe that she'll spit on you when she's angry. She's not considerate. She doesn't talk. She doesn't do anything.
I'm gonna say
Wow.
one more thing before we go to Ariel, and then after that, but I agree with what you're saying, because my friend and I were literally just talking about this yesterday, about how she was saying that like she knows somebody who is always, well, this one is not even dating, is always hopping from marriage to marriage to marriage to marriage to marriage.
Marriage
Yeah,
to
wait.
marriage is
Because
crazy
it's like,
Expensive hobby.
it's like you meet one person
That's
and you
a
say,
business.
wait, you meet one person and you're like, oh, communication is poor. So you leave them because the communication is poor, and you marry someone who has good communication, but maybe the other thing is another thing. So it goes back to what I was saying exactly, but it goes back to what I'm saying about non-negotiables. Like, I feel like everyone should have, it's like, if you don't want to, that's fine. But me personally, let me use myself as an example. I have a list of non-negotiables that I'm like, these are things that I know personally I can't compromise on. But that doesn't mean that like, it's not a whole big list or you have to be perfect or whatever. It's just things that I know that for it to work with me, with my own personality and character, you cannot be X, Y, and Z, or you have to be this, right? But that does not mean that they're not going to be things that are not on my non-negotiables that are going to cause arguments or have strives. But it's one of those things where like, I feel like if there are things like, maybe if it's religion or whatever, things that are important to you, if you're like, this is something that's important to me that I'm not willing to compromise on. If you meet someone that ticks those boxes, then you have to constantly be putting in the work to make sure that the things that don't, like, that aren't really on your non-negotiable, that you guys go over that hurdle. Because the grass may not always, similar to what you said, may not always be greener on the other side.
It
But
might be as well, though.
it might be, if they're not, well, anyways, maybe it might be. But
It can
Ariel,
be.
when you were
Shout
saying
out
you
to
didn't
our
agree,
farmers.
and then go to
What I
your
didn't
point
agree
after.
with was, I don't remember who said it. Whoever said that you should let people just be who they are or something.
I
like
Yeah.
said it.
We
I
had
agree
a
with
conversation
that.
about this
Said-
earlier.
That's what I didn't agree with.
That is a
I
Nigerian
think-
mentality wanting to change people.
100%.
It's not about changing people,
No,
yeah.
No, but let her
I
land. Let her
don't
land.
think it's about changing
Yeah,
people.
I agree.
I think there's a certain consideration that goes into actions, that goes into things. If I said something multiple times, you forget, but how you address the forgetting
Thank you.
is where I'm at. So it's
Wait,
not like,
wait, so
oh,
then
you
that's
just make...
what
I'm
you-
guilty of trying to
I'm-
change people as well. I can't lie.
Everybody
like-
is.
But Ariel,
Yeah,
that's what he
100%.
said. You're talking about the person that said we should say it 3 years on, keep repeating the same thing over
Yeah,
and over.
and then
No,
like
that's
off
not
the
what
back
we
of that,
said.
that's when you
That's what
said
he
just
said.
let
That's
people
what
be
Tobi
big.
said.
Well, it was
Yeah.
a response, no? Was it
Yeah.
a response?
And I also don't feel like, I don't
was
think
a
anybody
response.
has ever
I don't
gotten
think it was a
far in a
response. I think it
relationship.
was just
No,
more
no,
like
it's just a
best
comment. It was
relationship.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody has
Yeah.
ever gotten far in a relationship with another person by trying to uncompromisingly be themselves at all points.
Exactly. I
Truth of
feel
the
like
matter
Yeah, you have
that's
to compromise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Even with
relationship.
friendships, even with
Work together,
friendships.
it's a partnership.
Yeah.
No, but that's a red
Friendship,
flag, though.
relationship.
Being in a
Yeah.
relationship
I
requires
think-
you to consider your partner and how
Yeah,
you
Thank
like-
you.
Hundred
Even
percent. But the only
friendships.
way you can consider somebody is by understanding that they're different from you.
I agree with that.
You know?
But I also feel like, at the end of the day, this is why they say, everyone, like who likes you. Who said that before? Like who likes you. If dates who dates, who dates who likes you. If you're a stubborn babe, and you know that you like to be stubborn, but you're dating a man who is also stubborn and likes to be stubborn,
God, look
you
for
cannot
impatient
work.
man.
Like someone that likes, some men like wicked women, some women like wicked
out
men.
my wicked
Everyone
women.
date who wants, that's really the truth.
Shout out
Date
to my
who you're
Yoruba
compatible with. So it's like, if I look at you and I feel like your character traits are something that I can never, like, it can never work. Because, like, I can't change it's fundamentally who you are, and I'm going to want to have to change you. I know that me and you can never date. It can never work. Because I'm going to be wanting to change you and all your life, and you're going to be resenting me for wanting to change you. But little things like,
You don't like a challenge.
I hate a challenge, please. Like I said, I'm not raising no man. These men that they want to tell you, oh, I don't know, the ones that say that they can go 36 hours without talking to their babe. Like, oh, I have to tell you to text me, and I'm
That guy is cheating.
Exactly.
That babe.
Let's not
Let's
sugarcoat
bro.
it.
Like, I genuinely feel like those kind of some babes are also saying
when he's not
but there's some babes.
when he's not the president.
Yeah, but there's some babes that don't
But
care.
wait,
Some babes are
true.
like, oh, I don't care about man.
Wait,
This
That
is
babe is also cheating. If I tell my babe I'm cheating for 36 hours and you say cool.
What if the person doesn't have data now, guy? You guys.
Who the hell should be OG talking to? I mean?
No, but I won't lie.
24 hours, heading to 36 is crazy.
Yeah,
right.
but that's what I'm saying.
I find that when those arguments pop up in a relationship, it's because one person in that relationship has significantly more free time than the other.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
sure.
But
But
36
are you
hours.
guys, the
36
rest of you guys,
hours. Come
are you
on.
guys gonna say your? Is everyone else gonna say that? Just name it. We're just gonna name it. Just name it. We're not
I
gonna
think mine
discuss
is
it.
along the same lines as Tobi.
Okay,
Compromise
so
is key.
okay, so let's go to the next question. Do you believe your family shaped the way you perceive love, and how?
Yeah.
Definitely.
How?
Oh hell no.
I know you.
No. Actually, my mom.
Yeah.
My relationship with my mom. Yes.
Yeah. But negative relationship can also
Yeah,
change.
it does,
Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't have to be
You said
positive.
hell no.
Yeah, exactly. Because you may see you may see something that somebody
How are you
does.
answering for me?
No, it's not. Ariel is right though. You can see something that someone does that you don't like, and you're like, I would never do this to my
Like,
baby.
I wanna do
Negative
the
could also be
opposite.
an influence. The question was an influence.
Yeah.
All the negative
Okay,
stuff.
so why did you say hell no?
Because all the negative stuff I've seen,
50 marks.
I've buried it inside the back.
But-
of the. I don't even remember what the negative is.
Yeah,
I know that there was
but
negative,
doesn't
though.
that mean that's
It
not
kind
what you
of
want to
Wants to be
replicate?
exactly.
So it's kind of like
but
a
what I'm
deterrent.
saying is, I
Influence
don't even
you
remember
now.
what I don't want it to be. That's what I'm trying to tell
But
you.
you
Fair
know
enough.
what you want it to be.
Fair
yes.
enough. Fair
Yes,
enough.
that's
Deterrent.
fair.
I want you to
Yeah.
You know.
Guys are trying to tell me about me. Like,
Sorry.
What they know about
Toby
him.
said nonchalance.
What do you know about
Hashtag
me?
nonchalance. Fair enough. What
I
about you
think-
guys? How would you say?
My parents have a really supportive marriage.
Yeah.
It's kind of irritated me at certain points because I'm an only child.
Yeah.
So it means that like if one of my parents is angry at me,
They both
They're
are.
both-
most of the
yeah.
time, if my dad walks into a room, my mom is shouting at me. 9 times out of 10, guys probably gonna be like, "Why the fuck did you do that rubbish?"
Yeah.
that's the way it's supposed to
Without
be.
even
Yeah.
thinking.
100%.
And so, like,
That's the way it's
bro, I
supposed
can't
to
lie
be.
to you. I get it to a certain extent. Like,
Yeah.
first, like they didn't choose to have me as his son. My dad chose his
If my
wife,
child
like,
pisses off
when
my
Yeah.
wife,
you grab
Oh,
that.
that's a good one. I like that. You said that you
Bro,
didn't.
I was
Yeah,
talking to
yeah.
someone about this last
That's
time. They
real.
made it
That's
clear,
bars.
No, like, your parents didn't choose you as a child.
Doesn't mean that
But
they don't
your
love you
father
any less.
chose
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I chose them.
But
God
your
was
father
saying,
literally,
which family do you want?
your
Right.
father likely saw your mom and said, "Okay, that's my
That's
step."
a bad bitch.
Yeah.
That's a bad
She
bitch.
coming home with me.
No, real. No,
Man,
but I do.
I'm not gonna lie. For me, from my parents realized that a relationship based on faith definitely goes a longer way than
That's a good one.
a relationship
Wow.
not based
That's
on
a good one.
I never saw that, but I agree though.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Jesus.
I feel like for me, like kind of similar to what Kiitan said. I think my parents are very, very like they have a partnership, like proper partnership, to the point where like I used to beef my mom because like we're all very close to my mom in my family, and my dad is like, he's all right. But like we'll all tell our mom when we talk to our mom, we'll be like, don't tell dad. Then what's my dad calling me the next day? Ring, ring. Oh, how can you? And I'm thinking, sis, I told you. And I remember we used to all fight my mom because of this. And then my brother, my second brother, Timz and Joshua, he literally was like, they are married. Like,
It's
what
like
do you?
best friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah.
actually expect? And I feel like that's
You
gonna
think
shape.
you are?
Please, if I'm mommy, if you're watching this, if I'm telling you
I also
something,
want
don't
to
tell
point
dad.
out. I hope you've known your mom for about half the time your dad has.
I
More
understand
than
that. I
half
understand that.
sometimes.
But I feel like for me, it was like more so like because I had more trust in my mom than I did with my dad. And the reason why we need to tell my dad is because of the reaction of when he called us. Oh, because my mom is more calm. When you tell my mom something, she's more like, okay, like how are we gonna sort this? Like very calm, she's understanding. My dad is just straight to yelling, and I'm like, bro, you're never helping. Like, can you move? But
But like your dad should code though. He should know, but not say anything.
yeah, but like he doesn't. He doesn't care because my dad, I'm understanding the business. He doesn't care that he wants to know that she told him.
Do you
But
feel
yeah,
like that stops you? Do you feel like that stops you from telling your
it
mom
did stop
things?
me for a while because me and my mom, and that's why even for me, I think for me it's like something that I had to unlearn because it's like I want to be like that with my husband. I want to be able to tell my husband everything. I would like to hold him. My husband will not. If my daughter or my son should come to me and tell me something in confidence, and I tell my husband, he's not going to go to them and say,
Exactly.
you know, I would like to believe that he will not be like that.
Yeah.
But I do want to have an open and honest relationship with whoever I marry, where like there are no secrets. Because I feel like secrets is where everything starts to go left.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a serious question? Do you feel like there's certain conversations, let's say you have with your daughter or your son, that he tells you in confidence, "Yo, don't tell anybody, please. This is between me and you." That you shouldn't tell your partner.
Nope, there's no such thing.
I think sometimes there is.
Hell no.
Bro, let me
No,
put it
no,
this
no,
way.
wait,
The way I see raising children,
Mhm.
it's like a family. And man, I'm funny enough. I'm saying this as somebody that doesn't want kids, but like, if family is basically like, it's like you guys are running a company
What's
together.
wrong with
and you
not
guys are the
wanting kids,
partners.
Toby?
I just didn't know that.
It's
you
like
want kids.
you
Fair
guys.
enough.
Yeah, one of my oldest friends. You
I
know,
know. I just didn't know. I'm sorry.
But what's it called?
Clearly
Like,
bad friends.
so, Like it's like running a company and you guys are the two partners and you have like equal stake in it. You can't run a business without you and your partner what's going on in business.
I hear it.
I'm running
it.
Apple and one of our supply chain manufacturers, their factory burned down. I'm gonna tell my CCO.
No, I get what you're saying, but
Can I tell you why I don't stand for it?
Yeah.
It creates imbalance in the household.
Yeah.
You need balance in the household.
I agree.
Okay? You're not gonna have a kid thinking, oh, I might not get away with this with dad, but I can tell mom and I can get away with this.
Yeah.
There's no way. If dad says no, that's no. If you tell mom, don't think that you're gonna go to mom and then now the kids, oh, this is my favorite parent, and I'm gonna tell mom, and mom is gonna be like, okay, go to the concert. I'll tell dad you're sleeping in Betsy's house. It's gonna cause an imbalance in the house. Less respect for the dad. That is not happening in the household.
I get what you're saying, but you're talking about in situations where it's like maybe a decision needs to be made or whatever.
No, I'm talking about anything.
I understand that.
It still has
But
the same
let me
effects.
give you a real time scenario, right? And God forbid, let's assume, or whatever, let's assume that God forbid, someone's daughter, not anyone's here, but someone's daughter got raped. Let's put it like that.
Are you mad?
Wait,
You better tell me.
no.
You better tell me.
No, wait.
But do you know the
And then
truth?
she goes,
That can be the reason why sometimes they don't tell.
exactly.
No, but
and
I'm not gonna
then
do anything, but I need to know
I
my daughter's
understand that. No,
well-being.
I understand that.
My
But then
daughter's
she goes
well-being.
she goes to her mom. I understand what you're saying, Toby. She goes to the mom. In the heat of the moment, the mom cannot just go to the dad and say, because you're as a dad, I understand your first reaction is protection.
No, you can
mom
tell
can't
me when
just
we're laying.
Yeah,
you can tell me when we're laying.
No,
in bed
because you're
together.
going.
Because
Remember when they tell you you're going to be on full range?
You have to know, but you don't have to.
No,
You don't have to know
Toby.
before she's ready to tell you.
I'm not gonna lie. If my wife came up to me and said, "Yo, I'm about to tell you something really serious. I don't want you to react. I know you're gonna be upset. I don't want you to go and talk to her about this right now. This happened. I need to know. That is my daughter's well-being. That is something that's gonna affect her psychologically, possibly for the rest of her life. That is something that could affect the way that she relates with me.
Yeah,
And I understand
Yeah,
that.
but I
But
can't
it's
lie
in
to
the
you.
heat of the
I like
moment.
it. The master is yes, you're speaking from the perspective of bro. I know all of the information right now and I'm operating from this, and this is exactly how it should be. And you of all people, especially from you've known like how exactly I've had to deal with my parents in the past. The truth of the matter is, dog. If
Love you, auntie.
but like, if it gets to a point where like your child doesn't feel like telling you shit, they're just not
At that
going
point
to.
in
And the
time,
truth of the
and
matter is,
whatever you feel
as hard as
doesn't
it is,
matter.
as hard as it
It's
is to
hard.
hear,
And that's okay, bro.
finish.
That's
I
okay.
let me finish
Hold
my
on.
point.
Yeah,
Let me
wait,
finish
wait,
my
wait.
point.
Hold on.
Let me finish my point. Thank you.
Finish your point.
I'm just gonna say the truth of the matter. As hard as it is to hear this, you don't have to know until she's ready to tell you.
Okay, but
Yeah.
this is the thing, and that is okay. But if she's told her mom has a responsibility as a parent.
I don't agree.
As a parent, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. We're talking safeguarding and well-being stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Even like that's like if you're a teacher in school or you're somewhere else. Or you're,
depends
wait,
on
wait,
how
wait,
old
hold
she
on, hold
is.
on.
Yeah.
Or you're like a mental support
Yeah.
worker or anything,
wait.
and they tell you something like that. You have to tell the kid, I'm sorry, but I have to tell someone.
No,
Yeah,
but he also does
I
have a
understand that.
point.
It depends on the
my
age.
child's
I agree
well-being.
with this point.
Imagine being separated from your wife, your wife or something, and something like that happened to your child, and your wife hasn't told you.
I understand what you're saying.
I can't like cause a fundamental
When it
problem.
comes to
really.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like
Yes.
sorry.
Chill.
Yeah.
What Toby's saying is not wrong,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't think it's a situation of you're not gonna find out. Eventually, they're gonna.
I thank you. That's what I'm trying to
Eventually,
say.
No, but then
I-
it then becomes an issue between the mom and dad. It's
No
like, okay, so why are you
way.
taking this long to tell
Because
me?
it's-
Because it was based on the
Confidence,
child.
yeah,
She
yeah.
knows her husband as well.
You
She
cannot let
knows
the
her
child
husband.
dictate to
It's
you
not
as
about
a
dictation.
parent.
She's going
Bro.
through something. Listen.
Toby.
You're not
Your
the one that
child
got.
cannot dictate to you as a parent.
Brother, you're not the main character here. Don't forget.
I know,
You're
I
not the one that got
know,
raped.
I know, but I know.
And yet,
but
your desire to know is the most important
my,
thing
my
here.
desire to know is not based on
Kiitan.
anything. My desire
Because
to
of
know is
the
based
mental-
on my
mental-
well-being of
No,
my
what
child.
you
the fact
say
that my
makes
wife
sense.
And I
is
understand what you're
informed.
saying.
My
Do you know
wife
the truth of the
has
matter?
been
Timmy, go.
Your desire to know is based on your representation of what you feel a father should be doing.
What
I
about
understand
No,
that.
it's based on
Wait.
your
Yeah,
ego.
but
Because
no,
who said the wife will not take her to therapy?
Wait,
And that
Yeah,
is
but what
okay.
about she's an adult?
And that is
I'm
okay.
talking about from
Yeah.
when she's an
If
adult.
my child is an adult, she can choose who to tell.
Okay,
what.
And she
Right.
tells your
Toby,
wife, she tells your wife what
I
going
have an expectation
Toby,
from
can
my
I
wife.
give Toby?
I
Can I
can't
give
lie.
you
Don't
the
I
have
hear
it.
it,
Yeah,
I
wait,
hear
wait,
it.
wait. Timmy, go. Timmy,
I'm
go.
not gonna lie, and I'll
Wait,
stand on
Timmy,
it.
go. Timmy, go.
Toby,
Timmy,
I have an
go.
expectation from my wife.
Toby,
Timmy,
can
I hear
I
it.
Can I give you the answer?
Yeah.
Your reaction right now is the reason why you wouldn't get the gist first.
You wouldn't get the gist. I will get the gist.
Literally, your reaction right now is why you wouldn't get the gist.
My
Not
reaction.
really, it's a painful scenario.
No.
Wait, true.
My reaction is not based on being angry about the situation.
Yeah.
My
It's
reaction
about
is
not being told.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're right now. When they said that, okay, it's not going. The information is not going to come to you. You don't even have a daughter yet. You're already
Kicked off.
No,
No, because
You guys
it's
are
country,
misunderstanding.
it's
Wait,
different,
wait,
yeah.
wait, hold on.
Exactly.
Hold on, Timmy. Let me explain.
Yeah.
My. I would not. If my child decides to go to my wife, I would never be mad at my child
Yeah.
for choosing who to tell.
Right.
I would never be mad at my child for not telling me.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm talking about my expectation from my wife.
That's the issue.
My expectation is from my wife
Yeah.
because and it has not to, it's because of the well-being of my child.
raising
As a
this
parent,
child.
I
we are
understand
both
that.
raising this
Exactly.
child.
I
If
hear
this child has a problem, Okay, I might not need to act on it. I might need to tell this person that I know, but this is a problem that this child that we are both raising has.
Fair
so I
enough.
need to be informed on this.
And I understand that, and I agree with the information, like being informed and stuff. I think the
I'm
thing
not
is
gonna
that
react, but I need to be
wait.
informed.
I think the thing is that also sometimes you need to process some things. Like for example, if your child has come and tell you something, and let's assume she's told you, don't tell dad or X, Y, and Z. Like this is just between us, and eventually you will tell your husband. But it's a thing where if your wife is like, okay, let me try and she's told me this thing. I don't want to break her confidence. Or your husband might even be someone that is going to react.
You can't hold your child breaking a child over your marriage.
It's not about that.
Your marriage is forever.
Wait now, it's about making sure your child feels like they have someone to talk to. Because if you break your child's trust, now she's not going to talk to anybody.
Wait, one house.
Okay.
One house.
Okay, and now
Such
let
a
me just address what you
serious
said.
episode,
Okay,
guys.
but that is the whole
The
point.
price of shawarma
That is the
has
whole
gone
point.
up.
What's more important? What is more important to you? Your trust between your relationship with your wife or your child trusting you to tell you something?
Your
My child trusting me to tell me something. 100% my child trusting me to tell me something. Like you said, marriage is forever. My wife and I can squash later. My child needs to know they can talk to somebody, even if that somebody's just one person.
I agree. What's the
Let me explain.
God forbid.
Let me explain the angle, and Ariel, I agree with exactly what you said, because my child is not going to feel like her trust is broken. Because if my wife tells me that, and my wife has told me my child didn't want me to know, I'm going to go on with my life like I don't know until my child feels comfortable for me to know.
Okay, but you should have said that
It
since.
depends on the person.
But I've been saying that.
No, I can't lie.
you were
The way you
crying.
kicked off,
You were
was
like-
really
I said that
giving
at
it.
the beginning. Ariel, thank you for
Because-
Ariel said
you
the
threw your
same
toys
from
at
the
the
beginning.
pram just a little
Because
bit.
what Toby was saying is not that he will go to the doors and
No,
say
I agree.
no.
I agree. I heard you
Like
say that, by the
He
way.
wasn't.
Thank
He,
you.
didn't,
Yeah.
he
I'm
never
aware.
once said that he will make it known to the daughter that he knows.
Yeah.
If the daughter said don't tell dad, as dad going to pretend like he doesn't know.
I don't know.
His
Right.
point is that his wife should tell him
Because of the
so
well-being.
He knows how to handle
Fair
things.
enough.
I have.
Okay.
So it's not as if the child's trust is
Like-
broken because the child knows dad
Yeah,
knows.
yeah,
The
yeah.
child doesn't know dad knows.
exactly.
I would want my child to be able to talk to someone.
To add to that, I think it also depends on your partner. And I feel like you have to know your partner.
Trust your
You
partner.
have to know your partner and the way your partner behaves.
Thank you.
Because there are some people that even when they know something, it's hard for them to pretend like they don't know.
Yeah.
So even though it was your whole intention to pretend like you don't know,
Shout out,
to not let
Dad.
your daughter know, your daughter might still find out you know, and that is.
Oh,
And I was gonna say, just to add off that, right?
Depends on the
Ariel, I
Just
agree
to add
with
off that.
I
Wait,
actually
just to
fully
add off that
agree.
before we move to the next conversation.
So I couldn't break it down. It took Ariel.
No.
to-
Tobi, I was saying
You're not
what
supposed
you
to
were
opinion.
saying, right?
If I
But
start using fundamentally,
wait. No, it's not that.
understand.
I heard what you were saying about you
Grammatically.
saying that you won't go. I think where people found it hard to believe is because of the reaction you had. And people were like, okay, even if you're
That
saying
reaction
that,
was about my wife, not my child.
I understand that,
I
but
won't
even
lie
if
to
you're
you, the
saying
truth,
that,
I think a bit of that reaction also came from, bro,
Okay.
how can I be raising a child
Yeah.
and certain information will be kept from me?
On
And
my-
I think
no.
low-key,
Wait,
I'm not
wait,
even
wait,
gonna lie
No,
to you, bro.
it's how can we be raising a
We
child?
are raising a child.
Okay,
And different from
okay,
you have
let's-
information,
let's-
and you've kept information.
It's not-
I don't-
it's not a point-
can
it's
I
not from
say- I
ego.
understand
Yeah.
that my child is
It
going to
seems
have
like it
so
comes
many
from-
No.
things
Like,
that
do you
they're
know
not
why?
going
Do
to
you
want to
know
tell
the
me.
truth? I think, do you
Yeah.
know the truth? I think as men, there are a lot of things that we imbibe in terms of like the roles that we are supposed to play in relation to the women in our lives that we call our partners, the people that we say that we need to protect and everything.
Can I tell you
There are
something?
times
The
where-
question
hold on,
was
let me
vice
land.
versa as
Let me
well,
land,
you
let me
know.
land.
Yes.
I know, but let me land.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I think that there are some times where, okay, for example, now, like, my really good friend or my cousin or my sister can come to me now and be like, yo, there's this one guy that was at a party and he took advantage of me. All of a sudden, I'm kicking off. I'm grabbing my car keys. I'm like, bro, I'm finding a nigga right now and I'm going to
I
Right.
wouldn't have that reaction.
Like, what's the...
That's
Do you
why
grab?
it depends
I wouldn't
Yeah.
have that reaction.
Depends on the
But let me-
My
okay,
reaction
wait,
would be
wait,
based
wait.
off what the girl wants.
now let me
And so if you've not heard that your daughter doesn't want you to
Wait,
know,
okay,
why send them something
guys, we're
like
going
that?
around in circles. We're going around in circles because there's no point you're going to make.
Explain.
He's
There's no
addressed
point
that.
exactly. There's no point
Yeah,
you're going to make now that he's
move
new.
on.
So before we even move around, move on. Let me just bring this one example, right? This series I was watching called This Is Us. They were fostering a kid, and the kid had alopecia, and the kid had alopecia, and she told the mom, and obviously the mom told her husband. And the husband didn't go to her and say, "Oh, I know you have alopecia," but the reason what was causing her to have alopecia was stress. So he saw her and he was like, "Oh, I actually had panic." He saw her and was talking to her, having a conversation with her, and he was like, "Oh, you know something that really helps me with stress is like going for runs." But then when he said that, she looked at him and said, "She told
She
you."
knows. She knows.
She
that he
knows. Yeah, she knows that he
You
knows.
can't make it bait that you know.
Yeah. So
And,
it's like
and I feel like your child should know that when they tell you something, your mom's gonna know.
No. I don't think they should. Because,
as an
because-
adult, maybe,
because-
but as a
No,
child,
at
no.
that
As-
point
as
in
a-
time.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is your child needs to feel like there's a safe space.
Yeah.
They need to feel like I can go to mom and tell mom this, and dad is not going to know.
Yeah.
But between mom and dad, Dad knows.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the 6
Because
is us, though, no?
It's true.
Shout
no,
out
no,
to
no.
Popsy.
No, but the thing is,
No,
though,
in children's head, it's not.
It's not like that.
All right,
I guess so.
yeah,
As a
yes.
child,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
not thinking
yeah.
like that.
You
Like-
have to make sure that your
Yeah.
I find it
child
hard
I agree,
for
I
me
agree.
because
Yeah.
I would like there was a situation that kind of went down like earlier this year that like my parents were involved with like a different family friend, and like one of my cousins had gone to go and tell my mom about something that was going on with him, and she didn't tell my dad for ages. And like it wasn't necessarily my dad's fault, so but I will point out that by the time my dad found out, certain actions he took blew that situation wide open.
Okay,
Bro.
but can I ask you a question? If it was about you,
What?
do you think your mom would have waited long to tell your dad if it was about you?
It depends on the situation. If I was in the exact same situation that the cousin in question was in, and I told my mom dead ass, like, especially because the cousin literally said, bro, don't tell
Don't
my
tell
dad. Because
anybody.
to a certain extent, I also think that sometimes like that don't tell dad can be based on.
But can I tell you guys
more,
something?
I don't want my
Wait,
dad
wait.
to find out.
You guys are assuming that.
Yeah,
You guys
for
are
sure,
assuming that
for
your
sure.
mom won't tell
Like,
your dad.
for sure.
She
Guys, I
probably
can't
did.
finish a sentence with this piece.
Yeah,
No,
let
no,
Kiitan
it's true,
finish.
it's
Let
true,
Kiitan
true.
finish. We've been cutting him
Sometimes
off.
it can come from a place of not even like I don't trust my dad or anything, but sometimes like it's a bit scarier to let your dad know that you fucked up. Do you grab?
Yeah, yeah.
There's always a different parents, rather. It's not a gender thing, but sometimes like there's a parent who's a bit stricter or who like you don't want to disappoint as much. You grab? And sometimes it's more about like I don't want to like come to you and let you know that I fucked up or
Yeah.
something, especially if it's something that you've warned me about in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like right now I'm telling mom because this is a situation that's out of my hands, out of my control, but I don't want to tell dad because like I'm
He's
scared
gonna
be
blow it.
disappointed.
Yeah.
And
I get
sometimes
that.
you want to fix it before you tell them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So what is something that was taboo in your household around dating that you wouldn't want to perpetuate as a parent?
Can you repeat that?
What's something that was taboo, like something that you could not do in your household when it comes to dating, that you would, or relationships or whatever, that you wouldn't want to perpetuate as a parent?
I can't answer
Something that your
question.
parents-
My mom is like amazing. I can tell my mom anything.
Yeah, my parents.
It's not about telling, but it's just like something
always
that
stigmatized.
it could be even dating. Like one for me, let me even use myself as an example. I think for me, my parents said when we were in secondary school, no dating, no boyfriend, no this, no that, right? And I think for me, I watched this video from Tony Tone. I actually love her. I have to give her a shout out. She doesn't know me. I don't barely know her really. I just know her from social media and stuff, but I genuinely love her. I love her advice. And she made this point about how her parents were never like, oh, don't date. Her parents were kind of like, if you're dating, I think at one time she had a boyfriend, parents said don't date or whatever. But the next time they were like, she's going to do it anyways. But let her do it in a safe environment where we can see the man. They'll be constantly under chaperone where we're watching them and stuff like that. And then they can feel comfortable coming to come and tell us, oh, this happened with this guy, rather than creating a household where you're saying this is not allowed, when kids are going to do it anyways because they're seeing their friends doing it. I think that's one thing. I'm not going to tell my teenage kids don't date. I'm going to sit them down and have the conversation about, I would prefer, because when you're young, you think everything is heightened, you're more in love, you think you're in love, but it's not the truth. But I want them to feel safe to come and tell me that, listen, I like this person. And we could even unpack it because I want to have an open and honest conversation
No
with my
topic
kids.
is a taboo.
Exactly. Like, we can unpack it. Like, why do you think you like this person? What are they doing? You know, have those conversations so they feel safe.
Make
Yeah,
fun
you
But that's
want
for
her
me.
to
Within
realize
that,
this
draw
man is a
boundaries,
boy.
though.
You said what?
You want her to. You want.
Within that, you should draw boundaries.
Exactly.
There
Like
are
the
some
man
parents
before
that
my
allow.
husband.
There are
Let
some
her
parents
relax
that allow their
herself.
child
She's
to have
saying
their girlfriend
herself.
sleep over all in the name of at least they're in the house and I know they're safe.
No,
or
but the
whatever.
thing is, your children.
No, not sleeping
your
over,
children
no.
know what is
Not
allowed.
sleeping
From
over.
knowing
Yeah.
you, they'll be like, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah. Not
So,
sleeping over. I think
from
respect,
knowing
of
you,
course.
they'll know.
Yeah.
There should be boundaries.
Yeah, just like
Exactly.
you can
And I think
go
knowing
on
it allows
dates.
you
Yeah.
to set better boundaries
Yeah.
rather than just saying don't. Because another thing is strictness creates secretive children.
Thank you.
Like obviously,
Pastor
I'm not saying
children,
that
I'm
you
a
shouldn't be
pastor.
strict.
I was
You
about
I'm
came
not
to
from
saying that you
somewhere.
shouldn't be strict or you shouldn't enforce like boundaries or try to teach your children lessons.
Yeah.
But I think that there should be like room for consideration in all of this. Like, don't just lock them in the room and say don't go outside.
Yeah.
Try and explain to them why outside might not be safe for somebody that's
Right.
16 just moving around.
Right.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
when you catch them sneaking out of the window, don't be surprised.
No, for
Because I
real.
think
No,
every
but even
rule-
if you tell them that outside isn't good,
I
they
know,
are still
but-
going. You know that, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
conversation at least.
Like,
I
it
feel
took a long
like-
time.
when you're, in my opinion, when you're raising kids and you have rules and you have things that you're trying to enforce, I feel like explaining the reasons why and explaining why, not only the reason why you want that reason in your household and why, just explaining your reasoning behind what you're telling them is really important because in a child's mind to quantify something you're telling them, they have to have something to base it on.
Right,
If you
right,
just
right.
say, don't go outside because I said so, don't do this, come back by 11
Yeah.
because I said so.
My mom used to say that.
Yeah.
And I used to listen.
Give reasons.
Because you're a good child.
Give
Because
reasons.
another
Me,
thing
I
you
didn't
also need to
listen.
remember, children
I
don't
can't lie. I
listen.
didn't listen to my
Exactly.
parents.
Like,
I
you
said
can
so
spend-
was never an
and
excuse
don't
for me.
forget
You have to tell
sometimes
me.
explaining
I
why
said
you're
so.
giving a reason.
My mom beat
is
me, my
far
dad
harder
didn't,
than
but
saying
my-
because I said so.
My mom
And if you
said
give
when
somebody
I
an
lied.
instruction 3
Yeah.
different times, are you really going to go to lengths to explain why you're giving an instruction? The
I
third
can't
or
lie. That's
fourth?
that's
No,
what
I think
that's
give
what
the
I want
instruction
to.
the first time. The other times you can say whatever you want to say, but that child will not forget.
I agree.
lying.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to forget. They're going to know. They're going to do it anyway. But that's
Yeah.
different from not knowing.
Yeah.
I don't agree that they like it's completely left their head what you said. They don't know at all. They might still do it.
Yeah.
Bro, there
And
have been
I
sometimes
thought
when my
they
mom,
will know.
there have been
So you
sometimes
don't
when my
have
mom
to
has said
you don't
something
have
like, "Oh, don't go outside" or whatever. And it's not that I don't remember that she said it's you, but in that moment,
Yeah, but
my
you
desire
said
to go and
don't
play
go
with my
outside, don't go
friends.
outside because
Said
you
don't
said
go
don't go
outside, and she
outside.
explained why. But guess what? By the time my friends are outside my gate, Yanni
Yeah,
Miki talk
nah,
outside.
But then,
stubborn
but
child.
then, but then
You're
they're always,
stubborn.
but also remembering that no matter how,
That's just
Don't
stubborn.
use it as an
wait.
example because I grew up with Kiitan classes. So don't use it
but
as an
regardless of
example.
how much they
outside.
explain it, even if you're going to go outside, you know that there are going to be repercussions and
Kiitan's
consequences.
train of thought
So,
was different.
okay, guys. So, do you think you still adapt gender roles from your upbringing to your current view on relationships?
A little bit.
When you're in love, it changes, low key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your beliefs, when you start accepting somebody for who they really are, man, you really don't want them to just be in the kitchen cooking for you every day.
I don't
It doesn't have to be even cooking, but
No,
yeah,
I'm just
go
giving
ahead.
an
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
Like,
no, of course,
yeah.
yeah.
Slightly controversial take.
Mhm.
She's actually gonna finish me for this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't believe that like in this day and age, even though like we've made a lot of progress in terms of the other side of things, I don't believe men as an entity are allowed to step away from their gender roles.
We're not allowed.
Interesting.
correct.
Like as
I
a
agree,
man,
I
if you're in a
agree.
relationship, you have to be provider. So like we don't.
That could
you don't
also be
have-
But it's more
problematic. That could also be
stereotypical roles,
problematic.
no?
Yeah.
But you say you have to.
Yeah. But that could also be
there's scenarios
problematic.
where
Not
they
saying that.
aren't.
Yeah, that could also be a problematic
It
take.
doesn't
But
mean like everyone. It's
Yeah.
more like, it's like a general
Those are
statement.
exceptions to the rule.
Yeah,
but
As a
quick
general-
one, yeah.
If you
Yeah.
log into Twitter today,
general
if you log into wherever, if you talk to a large contingent of
But
even
men-
women,
But let me
So-
say,
so what
mostly
you do-
men
coming from where we're
What do you do in
coming
a
from,
situation? Let's
as
say.
Nigerians.
Can I
That's
can
what
I
I'm saying.
ask-
Wait. What do you do in a situation? Let's say you meet a guy now. He's like, yo, look, like for me, I don't pay school fees, so like I'll do everything else. So, but you have to be in charge of school fees. So what happens? What happens?
Ask Tobi that
Listen.
question. She said there's no gender roles.
Listen.
Your husband is like, nah, I don't pay on dates. So you have
Sir,
to
this
pay
is a
on
Wendy's.
bills.
What
But
happens?
I'll cook in the kitchen.
But I'll
I'll
cook
in the kitchen.
but no school
Right.
No school
No
fees.
school fees, so but
No, but like,
no school fees is a nasty
word.
Okay,
But
even
some babes
vice
don't
versa.
mind. Some babes don't mind being the provider.
No, but even
How
vice
do you know the
versa,
question is
woman
how do
comes and
you
says,
feel?
I can't lie, you. I'm not cooking for you. Men are running. Yes or no?
Yeah.
I can't lie.
Some men are not running.
There's a lot more acceptance for the modern
You know
woman
what?
now than there
I
was
agree.
even 10
I'm
years
gonna
ago.
make that bread. She doesn't have to cook. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, so going off what Orin said, right? I genuinely believe that. Before I answer, let me state this, right? There are some women who don't mind being the breadwinner. For me, like some women don't mind, they don't mind flipping the gender roles. I think especially women who like to be in control of things. Sometimes, not all women, but
Those women.
Can you introduce me to 3 of them?
I wish. I don't know them. I don't know them. This
They
is
will
a,
cheat
you don't know them, but you know they exist.
like, think like a man. No, think like a man. We had about women who are dominant in their field. They don't mind having a less dominant man. Some
Bro,
women don't
don't
even
keep on
mind.
doing
Women who are
Wait,
dominant in their fields
not
are
all
looking for
women,
men who
not
are
all
richer than
women.
them.
Kiitan, please.
Kiitan,
Not
don't
all
do it.
women.
As far as she
Not
doesn't
all
do leg
women.
work,
Some
I'm
women
fine.
who are in dominant roles don't mind having more submissive men. Some women do. Some women who are in dominant roles want more dominant men. It's fine. But that's just what I'm saying. That for your point of like, if your man is telling you he's not going to pay fees, just wants to be cooking, and you make some girls will be okay with that. As for me and my household, right? I personally don't want no man that's going to tell me you're not doing this, you're not doing that, because I will also be pulling my weight, and that's not me even talking about cooking and
That's
cleaning or
what you
whatever.
feel.
Whatever
I
the weight
plan
is, you
to
pull
go
it.
places. I plan to be very rich.
Do
I
your
plan
shit.
to do my,
Thirsty.
So I don't want a man who's telling me I'm not going to be doing this, I'm not going to do that, because that's not going to run, because I'm going to be doing things to make sure my kids
hear
are
that.
good.
Off the back of that, I'm not gonna lie, I'm 100% backing Peniel, because the only people that are scared
I'm
of all
with
these
Peniel.
things and talk about gender roles are people that are scared that they're not gonna go anywhere.
Right.
But
Yeah,
they're
wanna pull
scared
their
that their
weight.
woman is gonna go further than them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Facts,
bro,
facts.
if you're a woman and you're
That's an
pulling your weight and your
interesting
husband is pulling his
perspective.
weight, you won't be worried about whether or not
this
he's the
question.
provider
Right.
or
Right.
cooking or not.
Yeah.
If you're
Because
a
you know
man
it's a partner.
and
Guys
you're
are
pulling your
working
weight
too hard.
and your baby's pulling her weight, you won't be worried about whether she's any more or whether you're any more, whether she's
Yeah.
cooking or
Right.
not. You're both pulling your weight, you both go in
Right.
the kitchen and cook.
You're committed to your
Okay,
partnership.
she just
Do you
Yeah.
feel?
To
Do you
get
feel
a
like
chef.
a lot of gender roles are
gonna ask-
detrimental
oh,
to?
sorry,
Do you feel like a lot of gender roles at the moment are detrimental to like a good
No.
relationship?
No, I don't think so. I think that if everybody just stuck to gender roles, then there might be more peace in the world.
I don't know about that.
Oh, that's
Like-
controversial.
Because a lot of
It's
gender roles
controversial,
have been
but it's like
silence,
it's
bro.
like we wouldn't be having these conversations like, oh, like
Yeah,
there's
but
a lot of
women-
there's a lot of places where like men make the money, give the woman to the money, and the woman handles everything.
Yeah, but don't
Like,
forget,
yes,
bro.
but okay.
The people who were unhappy with the system, especially if they were women, were rarely ever allowed to actually speak out.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
And so
That was-
there's confirmation
It
bias.
comes with
Wow,
oppression. It
just
comes with
yeah,
oppression.
yeah,
I agree
yeah.
with that. It comes with oppression. I was gonna ask you guys a question, by the way, and then we can go off.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like your view on like gender roles and things like that comes from like your upbringing specifically.
Yeah.
Because I
Yes.
feel like I don't have a view on like when people talk about
Yes.
gender roles, I generally don't have an expectation of a woman to cook
don't.
or clean
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
anything.
definitely.
But I watched my mom do a lot of things by herself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen my mom change a tire. I've seen my mom change oil on the car, put water in the radiator. Like, so like I never
That's
really
a strong
had a,
woman.
Yeah.
I never really had a view on like, oh, this is a man's job or this is a woman's
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
like when I'm with a woman, I expect to be with a woman that can carry her own. Like,
I agree.
can do your shit.
Yeah.
Like,
My mom was like, my mom worked. I think my dad, when they first got married, my dad told my mom she should quit her job. My mom said, hell no, bro.
Like, relax.
Mom said, hell nah. So I feel like, and for us, how it worked was like, dad handled the big fees and whatever. He handled like the big bills. And mom handled like little things like kids, like, okay, we need books or I don't know, oh, mom, I want to get these shoes or school clothes or whatever. Mom was like, oh, let's just go John Lewis. Like she handled all of that. So for me, I didn't grow up seeing mom always had to go to dad. Hey, please, I need £10. The kids want, I need this money. The kids want. Sometimes like if like I don't know, my dad was not around or whatever, my mom was the one that gave us pocket money. Like, oh, here, go to work. So I feel like because of that, it kind of shaped my view that I was like, I can never depend on a man. Not because like my parents are still happy and they're still in love and they're still together.
sorry, that's not funny.
And they likely still
And
depend.
and they still depend on each other in different ways. But I feel for me, I think another thing was like I've seen people that I know and I went to school with who once their dad can just be like, I want to leave you for this baby, this woman I've been screwing, and you're fucked because the mom has no money, no job, no education, no nothing. So
Everyone should find what works for them.
No,
Exactly.
but in that scenario, it's not
I agree
depending
with
on a
that.
man, but it's
Find what
more
works for you.
things need to get done regardless of the situation.
exactly, fair
Yes.
enough. Yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
when
can
I say
find
depend, I don't mean
somebody who has that same
like I'm not
mindset.
like obviously if I'm in a relationship, it'll be like okay, you depend on me, I depend on you, like codependent, but not in a toxic way.
No matter
But,
what your
yeah.
views on gender roles, you'll find somebody that
That works. Thank you.
That's
why
the problem.
when
That's
people
many people trying to
all
change
these-
other people's opinions.
all these topics on
Exactly,
Twitter
boiling
and
down to
Instagram.
don't
when people are
change
talking,
your
I'm like,
partner.
If you're saying that you want someone that's like, listen, cut your clothes according to your side. There's always going to be somebody that wants you. There's always going to be someone that has the exact same view, the same as you.
Yeah.
But Ariel, what are you going to say before we go to the next
No,
one?
I was gonna agree with you. I was back
Yeah.
on what you're saying.
Okay.
Like, you need to date the people that will agree with you and people that are compatible.
Yep.
for you,
Right.
because if
It'll
not,
make your life so
problem.
much easier. Oh,
I
man.
agree.
Right.
Like even when they're coming for that babe sunflower because she said this and that, I'm just a man that will be
No, I
like,
can't
yes,
lie, bro.
girl.
That
No
makes
matter
sense.
whether you
No,
agree,
no, no,
what's
no, do you know why I hate that?
no, we're not doing that.
Sorry.
We're not getting into that. We're not going. We're not getting
I'm
into
not gonna
that.
lie. I'm just gonna say that it's a very short point. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel as though there is a very like deep.
Bro, that is
unwillingness-
clickbait.
Exactly. There's a very deep
Yeah.
unwillingness
That's
to
clickbait.
address like an opinion from a woman that's clearly detrimental and can have a larger societally detrimental effect and say that's a bad thing to
'Cause
say.
people
Whereas
take-
if a
people
man
take a
comes
lot
and starts
of-
saying, bro,
Yeah.
my woman must cook me fresh food every day, you will cook him for that because it's not just him that he's saying it to. He's reinforcing.
influencing
I get what
other
you're
men.
saying. I get what you're
There are
saying.
people who
I
listen to
agree.
him
I
and
agree.
then go
And-
outside and spouse that bullshit.
And I
Yeah.
agree with what you're saying, but what we're trying to say is that there was somebody that will cater to that. She's not
Doesn't
there
matter,
alone.
though. It's still
I'm not
bad
saying
behavior.
that it's
Influence.
not. I'm not saying it's not bad. The same way if a man says I want my wife to be cooking and clean and you must call me yes sir, there's a woman that will happily do that.
There is, but that
And
doesn't
I'm
stop
not saying
people
that,
from calling him
but
out.
nobody
Exactly.
is
Exactly, because
saying.
when you say
Nobody
like,
is
have
saying.
you seen,
Keep on
like,
wait.
Okay, go on.
Let me finish my
Next
point. Saying
question.
nobody is saying that is right or is wrong. We're just saying that what Ariel and I were saying or what you said is that there's someone that will cater to whatever whether it's a toxic or untoxic or healthy points. Somebody will cater to that. That's the point. Now the
That's
next
my
question
issue.
is
People need to say
the
it's
next
Next
question
question
is
wrong. Whatever.
Kiitan is right.
what's a fun or an unusual tradition from your upbringing that you would like to pass on to future generations?
Man, for me, when I was growing up, we used to sing in the car on like trips.
You guys is single.
Yeah, we used to
Oh,
sing
yeah.
Oh
together.
yeah, that's
Like,
so
that's where it came
cute.
from.
I'm gonna feature him. Don't
Jackson
worry.
Five.
guys.
It's
Yeah,
really,
what?
it's really
I'm
memorable.
gonna feature him on my track. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, I'll be
What's
teaching you how to record.
what's yours, Timmy?
What me?
Yeah, a tradition that you guys had that you'd like to pass on to your kids.
Yeah, we used to throw this like yearly party. So like I would have friends over like,
Yeah.
from the estate and everything. So like my parents were very welcoming people.
Oh, that's
Hey,
lovely.
What, like Christmas parties?
Not even just Christmas parties, like whenever occasion to celebrate. My
Yeah.
house is like the place, and it's still like.
Hey.
the
Oh, I
years
love
and
that.
So, yeah.
invite, so send that
What's
invite.
yours? Tobi.
Everything on next week.
For me, like
Oh, Allah, no.
I don't know, like we didn't really have any like traditions. Like I'm not gonna say my family is small, but like guys, I'm talking. Can you
Oh,
listen?
sorry.
Yeah.
One house.
Like one house.
Start from the beginning.
Like I said we didn't really have any like traditions. Like not like my family small, but like it was just me and my siblings.
Yeah.
And like my mom a lot of the
Yeah.
time. Like my dad is still alive. Like he wasn't in like the house with us. So,
Yeah.
we don't have any traditions.
Yeah.
Per se.
But your
Like,
mom didn't.
the only thing I would like to like do is like I would just want to have that same kind of close relationship
Oh, that's good.
with my kids. But obviously, I want to build my own traditions as well. Like,
Yeah,
I would love
yeah,
to
of course.
like have like a party like
That's
at my
cute.
house every year or something like that.
What about
Yeah.
singing in the car?
Yeah, my mom likes flavor. Boom, boom.
Hey, shout out auntie. Ariel, what's yours?
I guess just the closeness of my family and the way that we can all just talk to each other as if we're on the same level. It doesn't seem like a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like you can just talk to everyone like we're.
Yeah.
The same.
Kiitan, what's yours?
I think my parents are really friendly people, and I think they've been. Well, I've gone to the furthest corners of the earth and told people my name, and they're like, "Oh, we are this person's son."
Oh, fair enough.
And like, that's not necessarily like a family tradition or whatever, but like, if I were to have kids, that would definitely be something I would want to kind of give to them in the same. Because it was very embarrassing when I was little, like to the point where like we'll go on school trips to like, I don't know, visit like the House of Assembly in Lagos or something, and there's one clerk there that's like, I know your mom.
Bad guy.
It's
for
plugged
They
up.
know you in the House of Assembly.
No, real.
Bad guy.
Yeah.
But the point is,
Seriously.
point is that obviously, like, at a certain point, it was like, Jesus,
Tobi
like, how
was
big
crazy.
is the shadow that, like, I exist underneath? If
Yeah.
that makes sense. But after a while, it was just like, bro, like, I literally, I can find somebody in this wood green here that we are now that knows.
Like
that
if
loves
somebody's
my
busy
parents.
Fair
on the
enough.
road, they can be like, I'm Kiitan.
Yeah. So you're full
Like, I know your
government.
dad.
Yeah. Tobi, what's yours?
So 2 things. One is every first day of the year, like the first few hours, we always cracked open a bottle of wine.
Oh.
Standard, like
Well, when
standard.
did that start though?
Right as a kid, and so non-alcoholic wine. Chandon. So like
Chandon. Like, every Nigerian knows that one.
Right as a kid,
Yeah.
you get the wine glass, you wash it before you go to church, you come back and you do one. Another one was my mom. Obviously, she was a working woman. We used to live on the mainland. The traffic to Third Mainland, right? My mom in the morning going to school, she would always go through my homework, and she would always try and make it home in time to read a chapter of a book.
Oh,
actually-
bedtime story.
Can I add
Not even
one?
bedtime, it was based on like
Can I add one tradition I had, actually?
my favorite book.
I love that.
But,
One
yeah.
tradition, I'm not gonna lie, that just reminded me. My mom used to revise for all of my exams with me in primary school, like everything. Like,
Yeah.
To be fair, like I don't even think if I showed her the maths now, she'll still know it.
Yeah, that's
But,
fair
like,
enough.
she-
I don't
she
remember
used
the
to
math
revise
either.
everything
From like
with
secondary
me,
to
and I used to
primary.
do really well in primary school, so yeah,
That's
that's
cute.
definitely like I would want to do my kids' homework with them and
Yeah.
stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's cute.
Careful.
I think mine would definitely be family holidays. I can't remember the last time because my
That's
family, we
another
all
good
live
one.
in different places.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we were all together. I feel like I see my brothers all in different places. They see each other, I see them, but we've never all been together since the last time, since our last family holiday when I was in sixth form in LA. I've not seen them. So we've not made a new family picture since then.
Well, that
They're not
is-
gonna go tonight, but I genuinely feel like that's one thing that I want to pass on, like making as much memories of my kids during summer holidays and Christmas holidays, so that when they're older is like they had that closeness, because I feel like that's what made us really close. Because even when my brothers moved to go to uni and stuff, we were all now me and my other brother and one summer holiday, we'll all go and meet them and meet in one place, and I feel like that really made our family really close, I would say.
Yeah,
I feel like that's very underrated because my parents are here at the moment.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that in years.
Yeah.
Where my sister's there, my brother's there. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
When you finally do it, because I had it in December 2020. This December that just went by.
Yeah.
And we were all together for Christmas.
Oh yeah, so
When you
that.
finally get it, you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, whoa. Like,
It's like your heart is
Wow.
complete.
And it's literally like,
Yeah.
and it's literally like,
I'm the only one.
You're the only son.
Literally
You have
just
no
the three of
siblings.
us.
You're
And like I said
alone.
earlier,
So you're
my
always
parents now
together.
can't go for. Like, bro, the last time I was literally talking to somebody about this. The last time
Kiitan's
my
parents, please take it
and I
easy on
all
him.
spent time in London together. That was when I was in secondary school. It was a 3-day trip. By the end of that trip, they cut my allowance in half.
But Kiitan
felt that
don't
one.
act
I
like
felt
you're
that in my
innocent.
soul.
Bro, they cut my allowance in half because they said, my dad literally said, why does your mom give you so much money? And I said, bro, and I said, bro, I don't even feel like it's a large amount of money, first of all, one. And number two, I said, Dad, let me ask you a
Okay,
question
but
now.
was it
I
a
said-
large amount
I said,
of
bro,
money?
no, it wasn't. I said,
Toby,
brother,
was it a large amount of money?
no, it wasn't.
Okay.
I said,
fair enough.
bro,
I don't
if
think
you're
so.
walking, I said, if you're walking down the street now and you were hungry and somebody walked up to you and just dropped a meat pie in your hand and they walked away, and then somebody came up to you and was like, oh,
Why
why
did
did that
meat
person
pie?
give you such a big meat pie? What the fuck would you say? That's such a daft question, bro.
I get that.
I'm not gonna
If
tell
it was
mommy
me, I'll
you're giving me too
collect-
much money.
I'll
Reduce
split
that
Okay,
allowance.
okay.
Is my mom meant to be like, oh, Kiitan, here's your allowance? And I'll be like, mommy, that's a bit too much. I
Thank
bet
you,
6 more.
Kiitan. Okay, well, that completes the episode. I hope you guys were taking notes. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you guys so much for being here. Catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.